What's up, folks? Very, very exciting day. So today was the official X-Wing Alliance announcement of points. Now, these are beta points, but these are the points that have been worked on by Ollie Pocknell, the head of the rules team. And we're going to actually see the full team referenced on another piece of information they put out not too long ago. But also what we're looking at right now is the official unveiling of the X-Wing Alliance's website. So they have their own fundamental like landing page website. I'm super pumped about this because even just this past week, I had a lot of different people asking me questions about like, where can I see this content? Where can I find this? And even I, who was reporting on it with the direct links, some of it I had to go dig around in all kinds of different channels to find. And while that's been really, really good for those individual channels, it has been a little bit unfortunate that this information is this cool stuff coming out, and you do have to kind of dig for it to find all of it. And that's exactly what we don't want. So having this central hub that everyone can be directed to is really good. It's just equally important that this hub continues to also recognize and kind of what's the word? Recognize and support those other individual channels as well. So I'll continue to do that. I will definitely be looking around the fringes, also talking on the XWA. But I'm definitely going to be shouting out Infinite Arenas a lot. And then at some point, we're going to have some actual physical product of some sort. Could be additional card printing, could be 3D printed plastic, could be resin tokens. There's a lot of stuff out there that we're going to see to kind of fill in the manufacturing gaps to give us the stuff we need to continue playing X-Wing as the game we know. So I'll have a link to this direct link to this website in the description here. And then also we've got news, which goes to news and announcements, which is awesome. So if you're looking for the latest announcement someone mentioned, want to double check it or see it for yourself, that's where that'll be. We've got resources, which right now is mostly the actual rules documents, the rules and points documents they just uploaded, and then about the X-Wing Alliance, like cool stuff there. We're going to bop around the website a little bit. I'm not going to dig into it in too much detail because we have points to talk about, and I don't want to take too long there. So this right here is documents, and this is specifically the points documents. Yeah. And so I've got these all pulled up. We've got the notes on the actual update. There's a 3-page document on that. And we'll see how much text actually is in there. Then we've got the ship points and then the upgrade points. And the formatting on these is beautiful. Whoever did this did a really, really good job. Just to go ahead and shout that out. Very impressive. And you'll see the formatting on the spreadsheets themselves. They look really, really nice. And apparently they're very easy to work with because we're also going to touch on Yasby. Yasby and Launch Bay Next have both officially been recognized as the squad builders that the XWA is in direct communication with. So they're the places that will most quickly and consistently have the current official X-Wing Alliance points. So I've got all these pulled up. We'll go ahead and go to our next one. This is the document that actually talks about the points update. And before I go much further from here, I made a point of not reading any of this. I wanted to go into this blind. I didn't follow any of the conversation today. I wanted to just like go ahead and jump in. But yeah, so I know nothing about this. We got Ollie Pocknell. Okay, I know a little bit about the people behind it. Ollie Pocknell, Greg Kashamian, who I don't know. One thing that sucks about this is I don't actually know a lot of these people by their real names. Ollie I do know, Dale Cromwell I do know, and I believe this is Cat, but I don't want to get too much into that. Greg Kashamian and Catherine Nixera are pillars of the community. So volunteer group, look at that. Does not claim ownership or affiliation in any capacity with Lucasfilm or Asmodee, just to go ahead and get that out there. Nice little legalese there. And so this is the patch notes. Things we looked at, bring extended back. And this is very cool, especially as a Scum player, when 2.5 came out and stopped the rotation of things into the different kind of like competitive pools. I think it was second 2.5. It may have been 2.0. It can't have been 2.0 because I've ran extended tournaments many times. But yeah, there was this whole thing where in the transition from 1.0 to 2.0, part of the model range went from standard to extended. It was this whole set where a lot of ships are just no longer legal to play because they didn't have a black box re-release in the current edition, which I understand. That's pretty typical of a lot of miniatures games, but it is still a real bummer. And I was really excited to see a lot of chatter about the extended ships coming back into the game. Again, especially as Scum, who has this enormous model range, but so much of it's not technically legal. So we'll see. It's going to be a very interesting time. We wanted to bring extended ships that people had been missing for a while. This was an easy win, but needed to be done carefully. How good do we make these ships, and how much do we want them to affect the metagame? Too powerful and nobody uses anything else. Too little and it's still the same old, same old. And this is particularly sensitive for extended ships because they have not had a physical re-release, and some of them are quite hard to find nowadays. A fair number of standard ships are hard to find, but the extended stuff, some of it has not had a rebox since first edition. So you would need to get a first edition copy of the ship and then also get the conversion stuff for second edition. And that could just, the pieces are just getting harder and harder to put together. So we may see that get easier in the future, but right now that's a particular challenge and a reason to make the extended stuff not, to lean on the side of making extended stuff a little bit weaker, but we'll see how they did. Readjusting the power level. We had to look at the most powerful ships in the game and identified that they were about 1.45 to 1.5 times the points value converted from the last set of 2.0 points we had. So let's see what that means. One of the better received points updates and known for a wide variety of usable lists. Based on what we've tried to bring, based on that, we've tried to bring most of the ships in the game in line with those points 1.3 times. Okay. Points value. Oh, I see. Okay. So the whole thing is like the total value of points given. So where 1 point of total combined pilot and loadout and upgrades was equivalent to 1, that'd be equal, but because anyway, so for each point, these ships were getting 1.5 points of stuff. So they just had more stuff cost-wise than the other things, and that's why they stood out. Okay, we've tried to bring most of the ships in the game in line with those points times 1.3. So they're looking at the second edition points as a guide here, and then converting those over into the 2.5 20 base point edition. We'll come back to that. This gives a little trim to those more powerful ships and now gives a benchmark for those extended ships. That's cool. It was used as a starting point and a baseline to even out the power curve. That is, of course, assuming that that last set of 2.0 points was very balanced, which is why we had this part, one of the better received points, the wide variety of usable lists. I'm very curious to see how this translates into scenarios, because scenarios are still a part of the game, and then seeing how the meta has shifted around those and your standard loadouts. I'm curious to see how this is going to apply, but it's a really good kind of general starting point. That's a really good place to start. Updating the loadout system. Ooh. The loadout system has so much potential but wasn't being used effectively. We've developed a system for this and have tried to bring as much interesting choice into list building as possible. You will also notice that some of the more powerful combinations have increased in loadout. Vista and Perceptive Copilot and Death Troopers have been a staple of the competitive meta for a while now, and this increase will allow more interesting choices on just what to fit on those larger ships, which is really good, right? So this is a challenge where if you make anything too expensive, it just stops being used completely. If you make it too cheap, it gets used constantly. So there's always that push and pull of having everything make sense for the cost it is. Not too high, not too low, not relative to other things, of course, too. So oversharing. Notable restriction changes to upgrade cards. Stealth device is now restricted to medium or large base ships only. Ooh, interesting. And that is the upgrade that gives you the cloak ability. And that is an extended, actually, stealth device. It's been so long. I'm going to have to look up what that does. Intimidation is now restricted to smaller medium base ships only, unlimited pilots only. Ooh, okay. So that already is really interesting to see that level of selective restriction. So restriction based on the type of pilot, restriction based on the type of base, especially limited pilots only. I believe that is the first time we may have had like one upgrade that's non-limited only. There are a handful of pilot abilities that only target non-limited pilots or generics, but limited only, I believe, is new. And intimidation not working on large ships is really good. So you can't now just jam your super large ship in there and block on purpose and then get everything that lands on it shot to pieces. Energy shell charges, which is the cheap baseline ordnance upgrade for Separatists, especially Vultures, now require a missile and modification slot. I am betting that means we saw a big buff to those. Stealth device, one of the first upgrades that we really thought could end up being a problem. With low-cost, high-agility ships at such a premium, it was clear that this was the next best thing to a shield upgrade. That's right. So stealth device is, I believe, you gain an additional green die until you get hit. And whenever you take a damage, your stealth device goes away too, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so you can see why on a 3 of 8 ship, it's now a 4 of 8 ship and becomes extremely challenging to deal with. Yeah, upgrade to a shield upgrade or regen. Both nerfed significantly. So it seemed destined to have the points go sky high, but then the idea of value it could provide to larger medium base ships or low agility ship is still pretty good. But not so good that the stealth device would last forever. I can see a downside to this right away because one ship I've been thinking about a lot all day is the IG-2000, the aggressor assault ship has 3 evade natively. If you can put stealth device on that, it becomes a 4 evade ship that tokens up really easily and is very fast. So first thing I'm reaching for. Taking inspiration from Nita's classic "no ship that small as a cloaking device" line from Empire Strike. Nice, nice. The lore justification. Oh, that's beautiful. We decided to limit this to medium or large base ships. We recognized that in the hands of skilled pilots, the intimidation upgrade could serve as a highly effective tactical option. Yeah, given the cost of generic ships, we wanted, which is, we'll see if that means they're high or low. We wanted to implement safeguards to prevent the widespread use of intimidation on inexpensive chassis. Oh, I see. Okay, so using a generic Falcon or something and just throwing it in there with that. Arvel demonstrates a strong synergy with this upgrade. Consequently, we have increased the cost and imposed a restriction that limits the use of intimidation to pilots that are limited. This adjustment also aligns with the thematic notion that true intimidation stems from name recognition rather than anonymity. Sometimes, if we're talking about like an Imperial, yeah, that is funny. The Emperor's Guard, the Imperial Guard, the red guys. Are they? God, it's funny coming straight from Warhammer to talk about Imperial Guard. Anyway, there are a handful of faceless things that would be truly terrifying, even if you don't know their name. But yeah, in general, very much true. Yeah, you're a lot more scared of Vader than you are of Vader's wingmen, for example. Energy shell charges. It's a simple case of the major themes of the points update. Choice. Through independent dice studies and just watching games, the CIS needed an upgrade in firepower. We knew we wanted to make energy shell charges cheaper, but there needed to be a cost associated with that. By adding a modification slot requirement, CIS players are going to have to choose between low cost of energy shell charges to boost firepower or independent calculations. That's really cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that more. A little more on loadout and slots, and then we're going to move on to the actual points. You may notice that while only a small number of ships have been adjusted point-wise, the loadout value of many ships has changed. Okay. In most cases, it is a slight adjustment to our stated power curve. For some ships, that means a reduction. For others, it means a boost. We took the baseline, and ships were adjusted from there on an individual basis as the need arose. Keeping in mind, one of the major themes of this update is choice. You may also notice that sometimes you have more slots than your loadout could ever fill. Okay. Or more loadout than you may feel is reasonable for the number of slots you have, which is a rare problem that I felt most with CIS. See, if you had like a Hyena, for example, it was very easy to fill up all of your upgrade slots and still have a bunch of points kicking around. You may feel that ships are better off with a cheaper upgrade, which leaves you unspent loadout value. That's a choice we want people to be able to make without neutering a more expensive loadout choice another person may want to take. Conversely, if there's little loadout on your ship and many slots, we wanted to give you the choice of how you're spending that loadout, not force decisions or say this is the best and only way to play this ship. Sure. We know with every update a competitive meta will emerge. We're hoping that by fostering choices not only in list building ships, but also how you load out your ships, that we will see a more diverse environment that can allow players to build counters into the new meta roster, or meta monster, excuse me. A treatise on generics. Ooh, now we get Ollie's book. Generic ships, well, I don't know if it's Ollie's, actually, it's just the team. Generic ships and bringing them back to everyone's favorite word, viability, is something that we've heard quite often in requests and surveys. In the first few alpha versions of this points update, and this again is the beta, many generics were brought down to a level where we could see them being played, but in testing, it quickly became apparent if able to be swarmed, so many of these generics became an issue, which is... We all knew that was going to happen. Those of us not actively saying, like, we want generics back, generic spam was a problem. And if we allow it to be a problem again, it will be a problem. So it's not at all surprising, but I appreciate this being written out here. Quickly became apparent that if able to be swarmed, so many of these generics became an issue. In objective-based scenarios, having more ships is never a bad idea, and this allowed more ships, but perhaps more significantly, more efficient ships as well. Right. To that end, we've tried to make a generic choice viable where we can, whether that means a slightly cheaper ship with little loadout or more expensive with more loadout. We recognize that for people who love generics, this update will probably not go far enough to that immediate goal. It is an unfortunate reality of the current system under which this version of the game is played. And while we share your goals that all ships would be able to be played, including generics, at this point we feel like we would need more tools at our disposal to be able to truly balance generic ships back into the fold. The good news is that in the future, these tools may very well be given to us to use. But for this first update, we felt it best not to change the system too much. And just a quick step back to the moment we're in right now, right? We haven't had the final officially supported worlds. These points are very much unofficial. They're very much a beta. We still haven't had that moment where the X-Wing Alliance would actually full on take on the reins of running the game. This is one of the first significant media updates we've had, hot on the heels of the Epic play kind of suggested stuff too. There's a lot coming out and it's very, very exciting. But also at this moment, it would be very easy to do too much too quickly. So the conversation about generics, sure. I mean, we'll talk about that more. We'll see. Well, actually, the 312 points, they had a really interesting piece that I'm sure has been mentioned multiple times to the X-Wing Alliance. But they had cheaper generics with low loadout that were pipped. So you could have 2 cheap X-Wings, but you could only have 2, for example. That was cool. I appreciated that design, and it's a way to bring back generics into the game in a cheap way. But it's still very quickly, if you're shaving 1 point off of every single chassis in your list, you get a very frightening list extremely quickly, even if it has very limited upgrade slots. That's a very negative side of generics and why they are a problem. I am personally not in the camp that wants generics. I frankly don't care about generics. I want the abilities that specifically work on generics to be changed so they don't have to be generics. And in general, generic ships offer up so many game balance problems that I don't really see them being enough of a benefit to be worth it. On the flip side, talking about the upgrade choices here, the encouragement to leave unspent loadout points, probably seeing fewer upgrades on individual ships, that should dial the overall potential simplicity of the game down, help with upgrade bloat, kind of help deal with some of the sort of associated problems with not being able to play generics without making generics come back. It's like, I never want to see 4 YV666s on the board ever again. It was awful. I never want to see, what was it, 3 or 4 of the Upsilon shuttles on the board again. That was miserable. And they weren't even all generics, but having affordable generics in those chassis is what allowed those lists to become what they were. I understand it's a lever to pull, but it's just way too easy to abuse mass cheap ships in this game. And there's a very good reason why it's gone the way it has gone. And that's one of the biggest challenges with the change between 2.0 and 2.5. And I've been very shocked to see that being one of the most common things that people want back. I don't understand, because the things you truly want to be generic, your CIS fighters and your TIE fighters, there are generics. But we'll get to that. So let's dive right in. We're going to go ahead and talk about this is the upgrades. Oh, okay. So I have the upgrade points first. So we're actually going to go ahead and look at this because it sounded, another point before we get to this. These changes being relatively minor is really important because they're just bringing back an entire half of the ships available in the game, give or take, by bringing extended back in. So in terms of balance updates, if you go in really ham and make a lot of very dramatic changes, that will just wreck the meta overnight, and then you'll be picking up the pieces for a year. So taking it slow and seeing where everything settles is really good, I think. R2-D2 up 2 to 10. Yikes. And I mentioned the format on this I really like. I'm only going to talk about the changes here. Rebel Chopper goes to 2. R5-D8 goes up to 9. Woof. Okay, big bump there. I believe those are both the regen droids. So regen got a big nerf. Baze Malbus is one of the options to get multiple focus tokens, so went up to 7. Cassian went up to 2 as well. I like Cassian a lot. I want to say that he's the one that lets you predict your opponent's dial for a benefit. K2SO crew up to 8 for +2, which is probably important because he's insane. He lets you passively get focus tokens. K2SO. Maul, which you could take with Ezra, went up to 12 +2. Okay, interesting. I'm a little bit surprised to see them come in that heavy-handed on Force crew, but we'll see if that continues. Ursa Wren was a commonly used piece to help really amplify the offensive output of your ships. Up 2 to 8. Bistan, the double shot, up 4 to 12 points. Now, when we saw the Bistan Han nerf, we didn't really see a dramatic nerf to Bistan's total cost. It was a small tweak that made the total build not work, but parts of the build still worked. So I'm curious to see where this goes as we go on here. That's it for Rebels. Okay, a bunch of free titles. Empire, we see Admiral Sloane go up 9 to 25. Wow. Okay. So she's in the game, but pay a pretty penny. And that makes sense. So if you're going to take Sloane, you can do it, you can build around it, but not have anything else. Interesting choice. And we'll see the loadout value on the ships that can actually take that, because I don't know about that. Vader crew up 3 to 15. Also really appreciate that. The level of free damage that Vader crew is able to dish out on top of the other stuff that was out there. Like that Death Troopers Vader combo in a list where you were denied actions and then took free damage because you couldn't take actions was just utterly brutal. And just, yeah, Vader crew is incredibly powerful. So I appreciate seeing that. Um, it feels strategically important, but it's not enough to totally knock him out of consideration. And then for Grand Inquisitor, we've got down to 12 to -3. So there's a Force crew encouragement to take the Grand Inquisitor over the other options. Interesting. Death Troopers up 6 to 10. So we're seeing some of the classic combos both go up. And Death Troopers are just way too easy to squeeze into stuff and just a very, very negative play experience. And one of those upgrades that does feel a little bit outside of the rules of the game. Being able to blanket just stack stress on your opponents and then punish them with free damage is crazy powerful. And it takes all the agency away from players. And that's one of the things that's always like a problem. You want to limit agency reductions from your opponents in these kinds of games. Dauntless, the title up to 4 points. So the title isn't free anymore. Interesting. Same with the SD321. Now we have points cost 2 titles. And that's really interesting because that does give you more variety of builds where you can still take it. 4 points is definitely low, but it gets a lot harder to squeeze it on there with other options. And if you want to take the title, you do have to take something off. That's an interesting place. I like that. Ooh, genius. The Astromech Genius down to 0. Thank you. The reason Genius is called Genius in quotes is because Genius is the astromech that lets you drop bombs after you perform your maneuver, which the vast majority of the time for ships that can carry them means that you bomb yourself, which is sometimes worth it mechanically or just to like pull something off, but is a huge downside to taking them. And the loadout on Scum Y-Wings was dramatically too low across the board to take Genius plus bombs plus literally anything else. So I always wanted to pull off Genius plays because he's so emblematic of what Scum is supposed to be and was totally unviable. I'm really excited to see that change. I'm super pumped. Forlom down 3 to 5 because he was 8, which was crazy. This puts him a lot more in line with what he used to be. Forlom crew being the one where you take a shot, you take 2 ion tokens to tell the defender that they can't spend one of their green tokens. Massive downside to take the 2 ion tokens. You can game that. It's really good, but it's not so overpowered that he should be 8 because it's a crew slot. You have to double ion yourself. I really love Forlom as a mechanic. It's fun to play with that, but it's also just like you're ionizing yourself for this shot, so it better count. Really like that, and just anything to put Forlom back on the table, I would love to see that. Boba Fett crew +5 to go to 7. I believe he was banned, if I'm remembering the correct crew. That's the one that lets you reposition your ship, so that's an extended upgrade that's coming back. And I'm not looking at that. I feel like there should be a marker of extended crew that's coming back. I'll try to keep an eye out for some other ones. If I'm correct about which Boba Fett that is. Because yeah, the other one's a gunner. Yeah, baby Boba's a gunner. All right, we got Gamut Key going down to 7. Okay. We got Maul crew going up to 12. All right, so going up again. I guess he's being overused. Interesting. Pre-Vizsla going down to 8. Okay. Tobias Beckett is the one that lets you move a rock, coming back into standard with a giant points bump to 8. Yeah, anything that lets you like physically change the board states, like Boba Fett or Beckett, it's cool to have them in the game, sort of, but you got to mean it if you bring them. So I appreciate that points bump to those. Zam crew going down 2 to 9, interesting. And she recently got bumped way, way high. So going down a bit still puts her higher than she was, but is still quite high. I don't like Zam, honestly, just for the sheer volume of text, but it's nice to have that option, especially in Scum. It's a faction that really has trouble with getting reliable passive or double mods. That's good. Boba Fett Gunner, that's baby Boba, going up to 4, which also makes sense because he was always the gunner you just threw in there because he was there. Bosk Gunner, one of my absolute favorites, going down to 4. Really, really like Bosk Gunner. He's the one where if you miss a shot, you may perform a bonus attack, but you have to take 2 stress to do it. I really love that card for getting those mulligans and extra shots on kind of dodgy smaller ships, but he was too expensive. Relative to the other 6-point gunners, it just was rarely worth taking him in your builds for what you got. So really appreciate seeing that because the downside, just like Forlom crew, extremely, extremely high. Yeah, so that'll definitely make him more viable. It's good to see that. Han Solo Gunner down 2 to 7. Ooh, that was a gutsy move. Then Han Solo Gunner is when you engage, you may take a focus action and then gain a stress. One of the rare upgrades that Scum has to get double mods, because you can lock in your activation, and then when you're shooting, you can get that focus. Incredibly strong upgrade. Absolutely love it. Good to see it go down, but oh man, we'll see how that goes. That's that philosophy too of those very famous named characters being more playable. So interesting. Houndstooth title going up to 6. Okay, interesting. That's the one that allows you to dock a Z95 to a YV666. I can't say that ever saw play. So I'm curious what justified the increase in cost, but yeah. Ooh, Slave 1 title, the one that lets you adjust your dial. The old school Scum one going up to 10 points, but you can take it. Bold move, Ollie. I am interested to see how that goes. That is the one that lets you change your maneuver from one direction to another. Now, so far, I'm seeing a ton of things that feed directly into my favorite fire spray builds, but a lot of kind of tangential upgrades that will really help fire sprays be in play and with varied builds. So the increased cost of maul means that people can't just reach for maul every time. And there's a lot more to work with, and a lot of the stuff that got kind of reduced in price has some room there. So that's interesting. And so you can now play the classic dial changing boba, but if you do, you better mean it and you got to pay the points for it. Okay. Virago goes up to 8 because it is a shield upgrade. So instead of being a free title that gives you a shield upgrade, it is a shield upgrade with some extra upside. So that's cool. I appreciate that. Night Brother's still free. I'm really enjoying this design space of tweaking. So some of the titles are free and some of them have pretty steep premiums. That's cool. I don't know anything about resistance. So M9G8 goes up to 7. That's +2. R2D2 again goes up to 8. I think that's still regen. R6D8 goes up 2 to 6. Wartime loadout. Not standardized anymore. Down 2 points to 0. Interesting. So it was 2 points, now it's 0, and it's not standardized. Huh. So you can pick and choose which of your BTA and R2s have it. I like that. That's an interesting choice. Leo Organa going down 4 to 10. Another Force crew. That one getting a buff. Interesting. Ray crew going up 4 to 14. Good, because holy crap, what an upgrade. Ferrosphere paint going up 1 to 4. Also excellent, because God, what an upgrade. Commander Pyre back in the game, but doubled in cost to 10. General Hux +5. Yeah, a lot of these are extended upgrades coming back into the game. So General Hux +5 points from 3 to 8. Petty Officer Thanison goes up to 7 or up to 5, excuse me, +2. Supreme Leader Snoke up 5 to 15. Whew. Pricey. Hyperspace tracking data goes for, oh, this is first order, excuse me. I just went into that without even thinking about it. From 2 to 15, so +13. Wow, that is a huge bump in points. Man, that's a big one. Deuterium power cells it's basically a shield upgrade. So I see they sort of leveled all the shield upgrade equivalents up to a shield upgrade. And deuterium power cells, I think, gives you 2 shield upgrades because you can restore shields twice. So, but up to 8. So yeah. Galactic Republic Chopper +2 points to 10. R4P +1 point up to 3. Chancellor Palpatine / Darth Sidious -3 points down to 11. That's always a really interesting upgrade that never seems worth it. So I do appreciate seeing that. Satine Kryze +5 up to 15. What did she do wrong? 7th Fleet Gunner down 4 to 9. Ooh, that's the one that lets you throw an extra die, but you have to gain a disarm to recharge the charge on it. So you can use it multiple times, but you take turns not shooting. Really powerful, was once a staple of the faction. You haven't seen it in years, so interested to see that. Dedicated +2 to go up to 5, which is probably good because if you want it, you gotta mean it. Separatist. Chancellor Palpatine down 3 to 11. Pre Vizsla down 1 to 8. Zamwessel down 2 to 9. Okay. We got energy shell charges now take the modification slot and are now free. No, instead of 4 points, they're 2 points. Okay. Cool. Oh, I went right by this. I'm so sorry. Boba Fett Gunner matched Scum went up 2 to 4, and Discord missiles went up 2 to 4 as well. I appreciate that. I really like Discord missiles, but they're so powerful and slow down the game so much that if you take them, you should probably take fewer upgrades. So I think we're also going to see some buffs to vultures in this points change. So we want to see a nerf to some of their more abusable toys. Ooh, Kraken, the tactical relay down 2 to 6. All right. It's good. It's such an important piece in your tactical relay tool belt that it just wasn't worth it at 8. Especially with the carriers you're able to take it on and the amount of loadout they had. So that's probably a very needed change. Treacherous up 1 to 4 because it's one of the best upgrades in the game that people forget about. Soulless 1 title up 9. Whoa, not free anymore. Goes up to 9. I'll bet Grievous has a bunch of points though. Okay, so this is the faction specific stuff. Generic upgrades, R2 Astromech up to 8. Regen again. R4 Astromech, no, excuse me, R5 also regen. So we got the shield regen and the hull regen up 3 to 7. Proton cannons, ooh, up 1 to 5. That's a bummer. Informant back in the game, but up 2 to 6. So does that mean dial peaking is back in the game? This dial changing, I guess, is back. That is a wild change. That's a really big change. It was very understated in the release document. Extreme maneuvers down 3 to 5. Oh God. Okay. Heightened perception up 2 to 5. All right, and that's the engage at initiative 7. Sense plus 4 to 10. So the dial peaking stuff has gotten extremely expensive, but it's really good. Agile gunner up 3 to 4. Yeah, agile gunner being 1 was really nice for some ships and builds, but I'm hoping that's compensated for in the pilot points. Hotshot gunner down 1 to 5. Veteran tail gunner up 1 to 6. Veteran turret gunner up 1 to 4. Okay, so most of those sort of staple gunners went up, which means that all the other gunners are now easier to they're things you would think of more. Cluster missiles plus 2 to 6. We're seeing a lot of bumps to general ordnance. Concussion missiles plus 2 to 7. Ion missiles down 1 to 3. Okay. Mag pulse up 3 to 7. Yeah, that probably, yeah. Mag pulse was 4. Wow. Shows how much I used it. My bad. Proton rockets up or down 2 to 6. Wow. That was a gutsy choice. I mean, there's a big downside to those where they're bullseye only, they're single shot. You have to get in close range to use them. But we're going to see a lot more proton rockets. Kind of good. Barrage rockets plus 2 to 8. Thank you. Barrage rockets just give a ship that can carry them, which is a very limited pool of ships that can carry them, but just turn a 2 attack die ship into a 3 attack die ship, basically, with upside. It's crazy. Barrage rockets is a very much 1.0 upgrade, where it is an upgrade that is meant to be stapled to a chassis that wasn't working. So it's like a fix for a design problem from before. So it's like it's the cane toad of the game, and I feel about it the same way I feel about cane toads. The electroshaft missiles up 2 to 11. I like to see those. Those are a cool upgrade. I think they did have a heyday, but they've been gone from the game so long. I think there's counterplay at this point, but who knows? What do I know? Then we've got ablative plating down 2 to 2. Ablative plating is always a cool one to fill in that mod slot, but it was too expensive to take. So seeing it at 2 I like that. It's so situational. That is much cheaper with Genius being free. Now you could pay the 2 for ablative plating, and then you don't worry about bombing yourself. But then it's less scummy. So I don't know. Angle deflectors minus 3 to 1. Ooh. So you can get that reinforce if you trade a shield. Beskar plus 3 to 6. Yeah, probably had to happen. Dropseat Bay minus 3 to 2. Okay, Dropseat Bay's back. Hull upgrade up 3 to 9. So bringing back hull upgrade, but making quite a bit pricier. Shield upgrade plus 2 to 10. Okay, so those other upside shield upgrades actually are cheaper now than shield upgrade. Interesting. Precision ion engines is 1 now. I really love that upgrade, and that does make a lot of sense because it's so situational. You may never use it in most of your games. When you do, it's great, but 2 is a lot. Stealth device, medium or large ship. Concussion bombs plus 1 to 5. Good. Those are really strong. Proximity mines down 3 to 7. Wow. Okay, so that may be a little bit of a deep cut. I would have matched them to electroproton bomb. They're not the same, but that feels very cheap. Bomblet generator plus 1 to 3. Yeah. Advanced sensors. Okay. Advanced sensors brought back into the game, and then minus 4 points to 8. And advanced sensors are the ones that let you do your action before you move, which is incredibly powerful on high initiative ships because you can do something like a barrel roll or a boost to avoid a block. Or ships that know they're going to bump, they can take an action before they bump and lose their action step. So yeah, trajectory simulator 10 points plus 2. Backwards tail slide is minus 1 down to 1. Interesting. Crack Shot up 1 to 5. Daredevil down 1 to 4. I love Daredevil. I love it. My little Tycho A-Wing, the HLC, loves Daredevil, so this is a good time. Debris Gambit, -1 to 3. All right. Enduring, -1 to 4. Ooh. Intimidation, +4 to 7, with the limit on only smaller medium ship and limited only. Notorious, -1 to 6. All right. Yeah, that one got nerfed really hard and never appeared again. Outmaneuver to 9, down by 3. Wow. Wow. Okay. Saturation Salvo +2 to 4. Good. Snapshot -2 to 7. Yikes. Okay, that's. And it's funny, I'm looking at these things like that was nerfed a little bit. I'm like, yeah, good change. And then I see immediately followed by something where I was like, that's a discount. Squad Leader, I really love. It's a way that gives you a ship. It turns any ship into a coordinator, which is very cool. Potentially extremely powerful. Although it does trade their action, but there are ways around that. I really, really like Squad Leader. To see it at 4 is cool. Maybe we'll see more play of it. And it feels like a very thematic upgrade to make the game like you have your squad, you have a squad leader. Your squad leader calls the shots in a way that they actually have an impact on the game calling those shots. Swarm Tactics up 2 to 7. Also good. That was just very easy to kind of, especially when you can chain it to other ships. That's the part that feels strange to me, where you can have one ship with Swarm Tactics, chain it to another ship with Swarm Tactics, you change it to another ship, and so you get your entire squad bumped up to I6. Always felt weird. Homing torpedoes -1 to 4, sure. Ion torpedoes +1 to 5. Plasma torpedoes +2 to 7. Proton torpedoes +2 to 14. Wow, I think that's the highest cost we've ever seen them. Dorsal turret +1 to 3, sure. Ion cannon turret +1 to 6. So secondary weapons definitely got a bump kind of across the board, with some notable exceptions. I'm looking at you, proton rockets. I am surprised about the proton cannon nerf, but we'll see where that goes. All right, so that was the upgrades. Now we're going to look at the actual pilots. Again, focuses on the changes. Whoa. Okay. And the notes did say to look for a lot of changes to loadout over cost. So right off the bat, we've got Adon Fox, the B-Wing that no one ever played from Battle over Endor, -1 to 4. 4-cost B-Wing is a pretty big deal, especially those standard loadouts. Even if it's not Gina or Braylon, still, it's a 4-point standard loadout B-Wing. That's nothing to sneeze at. Braylon Leader Custom got +1 loadout. Braylon Strom Battle over Endor got +1 to 5. So now he and Gina are both 5. Oh, nope, spoke too soon. Custom Gina continues to be 4, but got nerfed down to 7 loadout. Okay, that's a big nerf. And then Gina standard loadout got +1 point as well. Somebody's having a tough time fighting against the B-Wings. But so that combo of Braylon Gina for Battle over Endor went up 2 points. So instead of being 9, it's now 11. So that's significant. You can still build around it. 10 Num Custom went down to 4. Nice. Well, excuse me. Netrum Pollard got +2 loadout to 12. 10 Num got -1 point to 4, but lost 9 loadout. Wow. 10 Num is still really good, but that's quite impressive. The Blue Squadron Veteran generic B-Wing went up to 5 squad points, but got 13 loadout. Up to 17 total. That is a lot of loadout. It's the highest loadout of any ship on here. Interesting. And then the Blue Squadron pilot is still at 4 and got +4 loadout to 8. So we got some additional loadout. We did actually get a cost increase on that Blade Squadron Veteran. That's one where if they made them cheaper, like, can you imagine a 3-point B-Wing generic? That would be awful for the game. Let's not do that. Arc 170 Rebels, we got -4 loadout for Garvin down to 3, -2 loadout on Ibitsam down to 7. Nora got +4 loadout up to 12. Yeah, that Nora Arc 170, she's a 5-point Arc 170, doesn't have a lot of incentive to take it. So the extra loadout really helps. Sharabe +1 to 5, and also +7 to 15 loadout. So she's tied for most expensive, but has the highest loadout by a good bit. I like that kind of balanced approach. The attack shuttles did not change in cost at all, but Ezra got +5 loadout to 12, Hera got +5 loadout to 14, Sabine got +5 loadout to 11, Zev lost 4 loadout down to 6. He still got a good amount of loadout. He had 10, so it was a good bit higher than the rest already. Hera having 14, that's certainly interesting, where you can take the I6 attack shuttle and have 14 loadout to play with. Interesting. And I love the keywords. They're including the keywords in there. We'll see where those are used. Ooh, okay. Oz-the-Tuck, of course, is back. We saw 1 Wolf Waro. Okay, yeah. Lorik, I think, is the scary one. Lorik, the 5 cost, got +5 loadout to 15. Yikes.
Wolfara went down 1 cost to 4 and -7 loadout to 4 as well. So very limited loadout. Ooh, and lost the mod slot. Yikes. Did I miss any of those? No. Yeah, wow. Okay. The Ozatuk was a real problem in the game when it was released. I'm curious to see how this goes. The generic Ozatuk, on that note, is now 5, is stayed at 5, but got +10 loadout to 16 and gained a second crew slot. So it certainly adds a lot of utility to the ship. It's a very strange ship. But it's cool to see it. It was a really interesting physical looking ship, and for the folks that have them and love them, I'd love to see them get more play. I don't want to see 100 Kashyyyk defenders running around doing the most broken crew combos possible, so we'll see how that goes. Because yeah, 16 loadout with 2 crew slots each, you could really flood the table with crew. It's probably not going to win you the game though. Y-Wings, no changes. Yvonne Verlaine got -3 loadout to 5 when people were playing, I guess. Hull Oakend, +1 to 4. Yeah, the Battle of Yavin Hall was definitely undercosted. He's fine at 4. You may not see play, but he probably shouldn't be 3. Horton Salm got +1 loadout to, or +1 cost to 4, but gained 9 loadout up to 16. Y-Wing is a lot of loadout. It's awesome. And here we have Nora Wexley in the Y-Wing. I fought against a really ridiculous Nora Wexley Y-Wing actually in the side events after the last chance qualifier at Adepticon last year, and that Nora Y-Wing is definitely a surprise. So seeing her get +7 loadout and a torpedo slot definitely opens up some options there. Now, most of the upgrades that could go in there went up as well. So if you were to build it the same way, you may end up with the same amount of loadout spent. But I don't know. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Dutch Vander, gold leader, -2 loadout to 10. Pops Krail, the custom one, went down 1 cost to 3. There's your 3-point Y-Wing. And lost 12 loadout down to 4. Okay, so 3-point Y-Wing being custom with limited loadout, that totally makes sense. I don't love a Y-Wing with only 4 loadout, though, because there's very little you can do with that, especially with the increased cost to turrets. So you're looking at a 2-attack ship. There's some stuff you can put in there, but very, very little. Maybe a dorsal, you do a dorsal turret, and that's it. Interesting. Then Gold Squadron Veteran, the generic, -1 to 3. That's your other 3-point Y-Wing, +2 loadout to 8, but only has missile, turret, and mod slot. So it's not particularly scary. There's certainly incentive to take it. If there's Y-Wing spam, that's fine. Gray Squadron Bomber stayed at 4 points, went up 10 loadout to 18, and has gained the turret slot. Whoever put a Y-Wing out there without a turret slot is a real jerk. And then Astromech. So gained Astromech and turret. Then we got the K-Wing Isege Tekutu, or Tuketu, excuse me. -1 loadout to, or -1 cost to 4, a 4-point pilot in the K-Wing. Ooh. -5 loadout down to 11. I still have trauma from the K-Wing. The TLT is not in the game, and that was the biggest source of abuse, especially from Miranda. But Miranda being back in the game with +11 loadout to 25 has me a little concerned. See how that goes. And Miranda can spend a shield to roll an additional attack die, or roll 1 less attack die to regen a shield. And she can do that every time she attacks, which is insane. And why that was really scary with the TLT was it could hit basically anything, more or less anywhere on the board, because she was pretty fast too. And it would attack twice. So she could spend a shield to roll 2 dice and then, or excuse me, gain a shield and roll 2 dice and then spend a shield to throw 4. And so it was just incredibly reliable and basically impossible to kill. It was a nightmare ship. Still can do that with cluster missiles, or can now take a double tapping crew, which is also problematic. So we'll see how that goes. But oh, she doesn't have a turret slot. Wow, they really took care of that. Yeah, okay. All right, so much less to be worried about. But you could still do one of the double tapping crew or cluster missiles and could still use what she did. And 4-die cluster missiles, nothing to sneeze at. And I believe she can do it. I think it's charge based now, so you have to spend the charge in addition to. I don't remember. It's been a while since I looked. I just traumatized. I know some people love the K-Wing model too, so if you want to fly an A-10 Warthog in Star Wars, like go for it. E-Wing Cornhorn down 1 to 5, but -11 loadout to 9. So dramatic nerfing on the loadout, but he certainly is a tempting piece at 5. Gavin stays at 5, lost 6 loadout. Knave Squadron Escort, the generic, +1 to 6, but gained 8 loadout to go up to 22 and gained a torpedo slot. So a perfectly reasonable long-range target lock, tech slot, astromech, proton torpedo carrier. So I totally get why that had to go up to 6, because I could see that being really, really problematic very quickly at 5. And then the Rogue Squadron, the 5-point, stays at 5, gains +2 loaded at 14, gets a talent and tech. I already had the torpedo. Interesting. So we're seeing a lot of buffs to generics, but not necessarily cost decreases, which is a good way to do it. You can still take the generic and they're more customizable. There's more you can do with them, but they aren't going to blow people away just by being able to flood the table with them, which is good. Fang Fighters, Rebel ones only changes Fen Rao, got +1 loadout to 10. I remember some builds I just wasn't able to build because he was 1 short and always felt a little bit strange. But since there was also the cost increase to Beskar, that's an interesting move. I don't know if that's going to matter so much for him. Ezra, -2 loadout to 10. Chopper, +5 loadout to 6. Wow, this is in the gauntlet. Mandalorian Resistance Pilot, -1 cost to 6, because why in the world was it 7? Because it's generic, you can take 3 of them. No. Yes, at 6 you can take 3 of them, plus a 2-pointer, which is not great, but it's there. And gained +10 loadout to 20. So you can take the generic gauntlet with 20 loadout, which is pretty good. Doesn't have the title slot. But Chopper's pretty tempting there. I really like the gauntlet. Love to see it see more play. It doesn't feel like an overly powerful ship. The amount of nerfs that it took not too long ago is pretty surprising considering. Hawk 290, the moment everyone's been waiting for. This is going to take forever, guys. Brace yourselves. Okay, Janor is -1 to 5, -10 loadout to 0. Okay. And she can just give a friendly ship an extra attack die. So it makes sense to make her just like, you want her, just that's it. Kyle down 1 to 4. Very nice. -3 loadout to 5. Okay. Rourke Garnet, -1 loadout to 11, but stays at 5. Wow. And then Rebel Scout goes down 1 to 3 and gains 1 loadout to go up to 7, but doesn't have a crew, title, or talent slot. So, yeah, I mean, you can have prox mines. Go to town. Yeah, a 3-point ship that can spam the floor with prox mines. I shouldn't have said that. Chewbacca and the Falcon, +2 loadout to 20. Han Solo Custom down 6 loadout to 9, so he's been nerfed a bit. Lando Custom down 9 loadout to 12. He's one of the other ones that was double tapping. Leia Organa -9 loadout to 15. Yeah, both double tapping a lot. Outer Rim Smuggler generic -1 cost to 6. +5 loadout to 11 and gained a crew and mod slot. Yeah, that's one of the generics I'm particularly concerned about. So I'm actually a little surprised to see a cost decrease there, but it is nice to have 1 Falcon you can run for 6. We'll see where this goes. RZ1 A-Wing, Ahsoka, +4 loadout to 16. Very nice, because she's very hard to justify at 5, but she's really freaking good. Arvel, +2 to 7. Very nice. Derek, +3 to 9. That's nice, because he's easy to skip over. His initiative is too low for me. This does make him more tempting, though, with that loadout. You can build a lot more into him. It felt very strange that his loadout was so low. Gamma, +1 to 4. Good, because there shouldn't ever be an A-Wing that you cannot possibly hit unless you shoot at it twice every turn. Yeah, that's a needed change. She was just too efficient. Hera, -1 loadout to 4. Interesting. I think that means she can't take mag pulse anymore. Jake Farrell down 3 loadout to 8. Also interesting. I actually don't know which of those. Yeah, okay. So they're both 4 now. The standard loadout was changed to 4, and the other one lost loadout. Huh. I wonder what he was doing wrong. But the quick build went from 5 to 4, which yeah makes sense. Kyo +1 to 4. She's just too good, and that's why every single person took her, but gained 5 loadout to 12. So she's still everything she was, just a little bit more expensive. Sabine stays 3, but loses 3 loadout to go down to 4. It's fine. She's still her pilot ability is still one of the best things ever stapled to an A-Wing. Shara Bay -1 to 3. That's nice. She was odd to 4. Tycho Custom lost 4 loadout. No, although you still have plenty. Yeah, especially with the deep cut to Daredevil. That's good. Wedge Antilles, the custom A-Wing, went down 1 loadout to 4. That's fine. I always had 1 extra point anyway. I did, what is it? Predator marksmanship was 4. Yeah, so that still works. And I don't think either of those changed. Green Squadron Pilot generic stayed 4, but got 9 loadout to go to 13 and gained a missile slot. So certainly a procket carrier. A double talent procket is pretty good. Phoenix Squadron Pilot went down 1 to 3 and has +3 loadout to 6. No missile slot. She the Peds, AP5 gained 2 loadout, bold. Ezra gained 6 loadout to 12, yikes. And has that force. So you could slap a force crew on there and have a lot of force in that thing. Fenrau pilot down to 4. Okay, but -4 loadout to 6. I remember Ghost Fen. There's a lot of trauma from 1.0 that keeps popping up when I see these points slide down. Zeb +1 loadout to 4. T65 X-Wing Biggs down 1 to 4. Very nice. But -13 loadout to 5. So you can still have that meat shield, but can't take much else with him. Garvin Dryce Custom -1 cost to 4. Very nice, but -10 loadout to 6. Okay, so in a lot of cases, we're seeing the custom tweaked a bit to compete head to head with the quick build or the standard loadout, whether that was an increase in or a change in total pilot cost on either side or a change in loadout on either side, or a plus or minus to loadout. I guess a plus to loadout on the custom. Interesting. Garvin, the standard loadout +1 cost to 5. Jack Porkins -1 cost to 4. -7 loadout to 8. Oof, ouch. Battle of Yavin Jack goes from +1 pilot cost to 5. Okay. Rebels must have been doing well. Colby Sporado +2 loadout to 9. Very nice. I always liked her. Levin Tenza +3 loadout to 11. Luke, custom Luke, down 1 to 5. Battle of Yavin Luke +1 to 6, which yeah, had to happen. But I should say custom Luke lost 19 loadout and went down to 5. He's still so good by itself. But that's if you want to take Proton Torpedo Luke, you really got to mean it. Yeah, that's a good flip because the standard loadout Luke is so freaking good and so efficient. There was never any reason to take the custom one. Now there is, but that's a big loadout drop. We'll see how that goes. Then we got Thane Kyrell -2 loadout to 6. Wedge Antilles custom +11 or 211 loadout +2. That's really nice because custom Wedge X-Wing always felt like you never had enough points to build with. Battle of Yavin Wedge +1 point to 6. Battle over Endor Wedge +1 point to 6. Sure. Wes +2 loadout to 17. I really like Wes Jampson. An extra loadout on him is great. Blue Squadron Escort generic stays 5, but goes up 14 loadout to 18. Adds the mod and torpedo slot. Cavern Angel Zealot gets -1 cost to 4, +8 loadout to 12, gains the mod slot. And then the Red Squadron Veteran gets -1 cost to 4, +5 to loadout. Wow, that's a lot of stuff going on there. And we're still in the first faction. Good God. Okay. U-Wing, and especially with extended, I will say that does make these lists a lot longer than they used to be. Benthic +1 loadout to 17. Bodhi -1 cost to 4. A 4-point. Oh, we got 2 4-point U-Wings. Bodhi -1 cost to 4. -4 loadout to 6. Cassian and Hef stay 5, but Cassian got +2 to 14 loadout, and Hef got +12 to 21 loadout. That's a lot of points to play with on that thing. K2SO -1 cost to 4. -6 loadout to 4 also. Magva +1 loadout to 15. Very nice. Saw Gerrera -5 loadout to 13. Blue Squadron Scout and Partisan Renegade both stayed at 5 points, but each gained +16 loadout for a total of 22. Both have double crew, and Partisan Renegade keeps that illicit and gains a mod, and Blue Squadron Scout keeps the mod and gains a sensor. Interesting. VCX Alexander Callis -1 to 6. I still think Callis is arguably the best of the VCXs, especially with something like Saw Crew to make him extra durable. He's got -6 loadout to 10, so that'll help. Gained a 3rd crew slot, wow, but lost gunner. So has 3 crew and no gunner. Interesting. Hera stayed at 7, got +2 loadout to 22. Kanan got -2 loadout to 18. Chopper got -2 loadout to 12. Yeah, he's a little too good. Chopper also gained crew, lost gunner. Lothal Rebel, that's an interesting choice. Is Biston a gunner? So that just takes away the opportunity to do Biston and some other options there. Lothal Rebel generic -1 to 6, another 6-point VCX. So you could actually run 3 VCXs on the board now. Which I guess, yeah. And lost the gunner slot and just crew. So pretty much lost the gunner slot to everyone except Hera and Kanan. YT2400 Dash Rendar -2 cost to 8. That's custom Dash. Oh boy. -2 loadout to 20 and lost the title slot. Yeah, lost the title slot. Okay. SL Dash Rendar, or no. Wild. There are 2 custom dashes. Huh. -8 loadout to 12. So Hotshot Mercenary went from 10 down to 8. And the other one, Freighter for Hire, is 7. So that is the one that came in the SL box, but was custom. SL, yeah, no changes there. SL Lebo went down 1 to 7. Excuse me, custom Lebo, my bad. Went down 1 to 7 and gained 6 loadout for 22. SL Lebo stayed the same. And there's so many. No, there's 2 customs. Okay. Then the new custom Lebo stayed at 6, but lost 9 loadout and gained a crew slot. But the custom Lebo, the 7.1, also lost the title. And then the cheaper custom also lost the mod slot. Interesting. And then the Wild Space Ranger, the generic, went down 1 to 7, gained 12 loadout to 19, and gained a gunner and a mod slot. There's a lot you can do with that. It'd be cool to see more YT 2400s. I just don't see them in play at all. And I have one that I've actually played with once or twice, and it's enough to make me want more, but not enough to do it again for a while. So, yeah. The Z95 Headhunters Kraken went down from 4 to 3, puts them in line with all the others, but lost 5 loadout to 6. The Bandit Squadron Pilot got +7 loadout to 12, and the Tala Squadron Pilot went up 6 to 10. Wow. Empire, I see a lot of changes. Oh god. Check the time. How we doing? Oh boy, it's late. Okay, we gotta go. Go, go, go. Karsabi, the Alpha Class Starwing, -3 cost to, where -2 cost to 3. Holy crap. So the aciest, the like top of the line, supposedly aciest of the Alpha Class Starwings is at 3 points, but lost 5 loadout to go to 9. It's interesting. Likewise, Major Vendor went down 1 cost to 4, but lost 4 loadout to go down to a total of 12. And with the torpedo slot instead of the missile, they have the more expensive secondary weapon. So, new Squadron Pilot -1 cost to 4, +13 loadout to 20. Row Squadron Pilot -1 to 4, +6 loadout to 15. Wow. Captain Hark and the Gauntlet, no change. Gar Saxon and the Gauntlet got +1 loadout to 19, which combined with the reduction to drop seat bay opens up a lot of options. Generic Imperial Super Commando goes down to 6. Wow. The Lambda across the board, -1 cost except for the generic. So Captain Kagi's 5, Colonel Jendon is 5, Sai is 4, Omicron Group Pilot is still 5. Kagi lost 7 loadout to 15. Jendon lost 7 loadout to 13. Lieutenant Sai lost 11 loadout to 3. Wow. And Omicron Group Pilot gained 16 loadout to 24. And everybody now has 2 crew. Colonel Jendon gained 1, and then the generic gained 2. So you can now take the 5-point generic with Palp. I believe he is okay. Yeah, interesting. You definitely want to make sure that, yeah. So you want to make sure Kagi can take Palpatine, even if he can't take much else. That makes it. TIE Advanced, 5th Brother, +1 loadout to 8. Grand Inquisitor, +3 loadout to 13. 7th Sister, +3 loadout to 9. Baron of the Empire, -1 cost, the generic, +1 loadout to 5. Okay, there's one that may come up again. And then the Inquisitor, generic Inquisitor, went up 8 loadout to 13. Whoa. But the Inquisitor doesn't have the missile slot. TIE Advanced, there's so many Vaders. Generic or custom Vader went down to 6. But now lost 9 loadout. So he only has 12. He still has plenty. That's still a very scary piece, especially at 6. And then the other 2 Vaders both went up 1 to 7. So both standard loadout Vaders are now 7. Generic is 6. All right. Juno +1 loadout to 9 and lost the tech slot. It was very strange. She was the only one that had that, except for custom Vader, I guess. And then Ved Foslo gets +1 loadout to 9. Zertic Strom loses 2 loadout to 12. And then the generics both gained 8. So the Storm Squadron has 10 and the Tempest Squadron has 12. The slot, this is a lot of changes. This is a huge amount of changes, guys. Sienna Ree went -1 cost down to 4. Whoa. Loadout down also to 4 for -10. So very few upgrades on there, but still, that's an Initiative 6 Interceptor for 4 points. Commandant Goran +1 loadout to 9. Gideon Hask -3 loadout to 4. Laurier +1 cost to 4, but +7 loadout to 13. But he's only got talent and mod. That'll be interesting to spend 13 loadout. Maus Monare went down 1 to 4. That's probably good because this is a little bit wild that thing was 5. Nash Windrider 11 plus 5. Oh, excuse me. Loadout is 11, which is an increase of 5. Wow. Second Sister plus 1 loadout to 15. Soontir fell. Custom Soontir fell down 1 to 4, but minus 9 loadout to 1. So you can get Custom Soontir fell for 4 points, but you only get 1 point to spend, and you only have a talent and a mod. So that right there is why Precision Ion Engines is now 2. Ah, wow. It is why it's now 2. So I don't know what you can do with 1 point now. Marksmanship. Okay. I saw someone, one of the only things that was spoiled for me was that Soontirfell was 4 now. I didn't see the loadout change though, so that's dramatic. Turfiner, Tur is back. I love Tur. I believe Tur is the one that can barrel roll after shooting. Still 4 points, but gained 1 loadout to 10. Alpha Squadron Pilot lost 1 point cheaper for 3. So you can get the Alpha Squadron generic TIE Interceptor for 3 points. It was 0 loadout. Still, you can get a generic TIE Interceptor for 3 points. That's very good and worth slapping into a lot of squads just for being a 3-point ship. And there are no other 3-point interceptors, so I appreciate that too, where there is an encouragement to take 3-point interceptors, but you can't stack them. Like they're all generic or nothing. You can't take Laurier plus generics. That's an interesting lever. And with 0 loadout, that's a really gutsy move. But a 3-point interceptor is probably worth it. TIE Reaper, no changes at the top 2. Vizier lost 2 loadout to 10. I think that means he can't take Palpatine anymore, which is interesting. Scarif base pilot plus 1 cost. Huh. But the loadout went up to 19. So plus 13 loadout. Yeah, more than doubled. Wow, crazy. TIE Defenders, Captain Dobbs. I don't even know who that is. Plus 3 loadout to 18. That's probably why I needed a buff. Captain Yor up 1 point to 6. Colonel Jendon up 1 point to 8. Colonel Vessery up 1 point to 8 as well. But Vessery gained 13 loadout up to 23. So that guy is the defender that I would want to build, because if you can, he's initiative 5, if I recall correctly. If you can take that guy and give him 23 loadout of upgrades, thing of beauty. Love it. Love it. That's pretty cool. Right, had no changes. Darth Vader and the Defenders got -5 loadout down to 5, and he's still 9 points. It's fine. Volt Scarus plus 1 loadout to 14. Delta Squadron Pilot down to 6. So now you can have there is a 6-point generic TIE Defender. They mentioned at some point that they wanted to make sure that people could build squad lists without penalty. This actually isn't in this document. I don't think I saw, but you can build squad lists below 20 without penalty. So you could take the 18-point triple defender of all the I6s, or you could do 2 7s and a 6, I guess. Yeah, okay. So you can do the triple defender with the scary ones, but not the scariest ones. And one of them has to be a generic. Yeah, I like that. Okay. The triple defender is this baseline of like, don't do that or don't do it too scary. So yeah, dialed back a bit. That's good. Delta Squadron is now the 6-pointer as plus 7 load up to 11. Very nice, but very limited slots. Onyx Squadron Ace stays at 7, but gains 12 loadout and has extra slots. Wow. So that's the thing about generics. One of the actually better arguments I've heard, they don't like using someone else's hero. They want to build out their hero pilot the way they want to do. I mean, I get it. That's what you're doing with any custom pilot, but not having it be named someone already existing, like, sure, I can see that. It's like building your D&D character in a ship. So seeing these really high loadout generics with a bunch of slots is pretty cool. So I like to see that. I don't want to see generic spam. So the very high loadout, very high upgrade slot generics is a cool space. I like that. TIE Aggressor, which no one's seen in years, -1 cost to Kestel and Double Edge being 4 and 3 respectively. Double Edge gets -2 loadout to 11. Onyx Squadron Scout gets +2 loadout to 14. Sinar Specialist down to 3. So there is also a 3-point aggressor aside from Double Edge, but -3 loadout to 5. Ooh, how much you can take with that. TIE Punisher. Oh, look at that. Death Rain went down 1 point. Redline went down 2. Now they're both 5 points. Death Rain got +2 loadout to 22. Dang. Redline lost 11 loadout down to 14, which makes sense if he's going to go down by 2 cost. You can still fit a lot in there, and Redline is a very, very frightening ship. So I love the Punisher. It is pretty funny looking, but mechanically, the way those 2 pilots especially operate in game is a lot of fun. I really enjoy that one. The generic went down 1 to 4, so you can take a 4-point generic Punisher. That's a little worrisome. Limited slots and but +7 loadout to 13. It's still relatively low, so I don't think there's going to be abuse there, especially because the pilot skill's terrible, but those things have a lot of hit points. Thailand Fighters, Del Miko, +2 loadout to 12. Iden Versio Custom, +4 loadout to 12. Moff Gideon, +2 loadout to 10, but lost both illicit slots. All right, all right. Howl Runner, +3 loadout to 11. Nice. Mauler Mythal Custom, +7 loadout to 11. A TIE Fighter with 11 loadout. Wild. Still has that cannon and talent slot. There's a lot you can do with that much loadout, even with those 2 slots. Battle of Yavin, Mauler Mythal went up to 4. Makes sense. Night Beast gained +2 loadout to 6. And a lot of these are seeing big buffs to loadout for pilots that have direct competition with a standard loadout. So kind of encouraging use of the customizable over the standard loadout. That's a cool space too. Night Beast +2 loadout to, and that I think is the one I just talked about. No, I don't think I did. So yeah, Night Beast, custom Night Beast got +2 loadout to 6. Scourge Skudu got +8 loadout to 11 and a mod slot. Nice. Wampa +6 loadout to 11. That's a fun design space. Wampa's an interesting piece. Academy Pilot +4 loadout to 4. Black Squadron Ace +1 cost to 3. And then ISB Jingoist +1 to 4. Yeah, but gained 3 loadout to 8. So there's some up and down there. So Empire did lose the higher initiative generic. That's interesting. Is the Black Squadron Ace is the I3, I believe. I don't remember Obsidian Squadron. Academy Pilot is I1. Obsidian Squadron they still have, but it's got 0 loadout, which I guess it always did. TIE Phantom, bringing back the Phantoms, not even counting the proposed custom loadouts we saw not too long ago. Echo down 1 to 4. Loadout value up 1 to 10. Whisper +5 loadout to 13. Imdar Test Pilot -1 cost to 4. +3 loadout to 9. Very nice. Sigma Squadron Ace -2 down to 4. God, the Sigma Squadron Ace was 6? Why? Anyway, Sigma Squadron Ace down 2 to 4 with -6 loadout down to 3. And I can see why, because you could have a cloaking ship that had a stealth device and you could flood the entire board with them and just only play to objectives and ignore everything else. I can see why that one was a little bit higher. And that still is something to worry about. I think a lot of players who've been playing for a while tend to overvalue Phantoms. They're really cool, especially Echo and Whisper, but the things that made them really scary were both nerfed in 1.0. The timing of the cloak now being in the system phase, so you can't do it quite as effectively. And then they lost an attack die. So where before they had 4 attack dice, now they have 3. That makes them a whole lot less prone to abuse, and they're nowhere near as scary as they were. So I think this will be cool to see them back in play, but they shouldn't be all that problematic outside of potentially flooding the field with stealth device cloaking ships. So I'm very glad the stealth device was limited in that way. So they're still going to cloak and run around to the objectives, but you can hit them in ways you wouldn't be if they were able to stealth device and cloak. Yeah. TIE Bomber, Captain Jonas Custom lost 3 loadout to 7. Yikes. And now here, a loadout nerf to these guys is going to stack with the nerf to some of their core upgrades, like those barrage rockets, and that might be a little bit too far, but I don't know. We'll see. Major Rhymer Custom +1 cost to 4, +3 loadout to 10, though. That's nice. And then Precision Destruction, the standardized loadout from the starter set. Yes. Gained 1 cost to 5 squad cost. And then we got Tomax Bren Custom, lost 3 loadout to go to 4. Interesting. And then Tomax Bren. Wait, what? Okay, so the scary Tomax got +1 cost to 4. The starter set Tomax, that's not scary, got -1 cost to 4 as well. Interesting. But yeah, the scary Tomax, the 3-point scary Tomax was very much something that had to be dialed down. So that makes sense. Deathfire -4 loadout to 7 for the 3-point custom, and then +1 cost to 4 for the standard loadout. There it is. Gamma Squadron Ace +2 loadout to 10, gained a talent. Nice. And then the Scimitar Squadron Pilot gained 6 loadout to 12. No new slots. I like that too, where you're giving additional slots in exchange for not giving as many loadout points, especially with the initiative difference. So the higher initiative one has the talent, the lower initiative one has more toys to play with. That's nice. It's a nice balance. TIE Striker Countdown loses the mod slot. No hull upgrade, shield upgrade for you. God, the hull upgrade on that thing. Duchess, -1 squad point to 4. Very nice, because she's definitely underpowered now. She also is costed like the way she was in first edition, which just, she's not that scary anymore. -6 loadout to 12, also fair. Pure Sabak, +1 loadout to 10. Vagabond, +8 loadout to 20. Black Squadron Scout, +5 loadout to 10. Planetary Sentinel, +6 loadout to 10. Planetary Sentinel lost the bomb slot. Okay, so the higher initiative one still has the bomb slot. Interesting. Decimators lost lost loadout almost across the board. They're all 7 points. Oiken, -3 loadout to 16. Mornaki, -8 loadout to 14. Chirpy, Rear Admiral Shiranu, the golden boy of all of them, -10 loadout to 10. So that's 3 crew. Oof. And then the patrol leader, the generic, went up 7 loadout to 19. So if you really want the toys, you take the generic. TIE Heavy, -1 cost, or excuse me, Ubel, flight leader Ubel, -1 cost to 4, but -4 loadout to 8, sure. Light and Dre, -1 cost to 4, -8 loadout to 6. And they have the double cannon slot. So there's very little they can do with a double cannon at that loadout. I think that still gives them enough to both take proton cannons, but barely. Yeah. Rampage, +2 loadout to 12, nice. Karita Academy Cadet, +10 loadout to 18. Onyx Squadron Sentry, +10 loadout to 17. Wow. The moment we've all been waiting for. Holy cow, this is a lot. Okay. And this is a bummer. Oh, Jesus, guys. Is that a good idea? Okay. So all of the aggressors went down to 6th. IG-88A lost 4 loadout to 12. B stayed the same. C lost 1 loadout to 15. And D, the one that is competed with the crew, now has the highest loadout at 16. So you can easily take 3 aggressors and still have 2 points to play with now. Or you take 2 and a 7 point, and 3 times 6 is 18, yeah. And you take an 8-pointer with a crew slot that takes IG-88D. Still, I like seeing them all in that cost range. That's really cool. I really like the aggressor. It's a very cool ship, and being able to run 3 of them is that like quintessential thing about it. But we'll see if there's a 2-pointer, because I'm betting there's not a 2-pointer in Scum anymore. We'll see. Arlise Hadrassian went up 1 cost to 1 squad point to 4. Interesting. But gained 2 loadout. Sure. Drea Renthal lost 2 loadout to 8. Nerfing Drea. I guess generics are actually playable now. Koval, +4 loadout to 11. Oh, my boy Koval. He's so much fun, but he's not worth 4 points with that loadout, but that'll help a lot. Lima Kai, +1 cost to 4, but +9 loadout to 17. Giving Y-Wings the toys to play with makes them Y-Wings. I really like this, even if it makes most of them more expensive. And on cue, Patrick, the napkin bomber, who's designed to run with genius, but has like no loadout and now is 3. So he's got 1 less squad point, so he now costs 3, but lost 4 loadout for 6. You can still do something with that. Yeah. A Maxian Warrior generic +8 loadout to 14 and lost the missile slot. Okay. Crymora Goon, -1 cost to 3, but gained 3 loadout to 7. Hired Gun, -1 cost to 3. No change. Jinata Security Officer, thank you. Gain, and this, I may have missed this actually. The Janata Security Officer lost, no, still cost 4, +9 loadout, which is great, and gained the Astromech slot. That thing didn't have an Astromech slot was so dumb. Y-Wings without, there was no generic Y-Wing with an Astromech slot for a really long time. And even now, you only have the 2 of the 4 generic Y-Wings can take an Astromech, which is again one of the signature things of a Y-Wing. Anyway, Custom, the crappy Falcon, Han Solo down to 5. I thought he was already 5. Wow, I guess he was 6. Han Solo down to 5, lost 6 loadout to 14. You still have plenty of loadout to do what you need to with that. I still don't know that it's good enough to be worth it, but still, that's certainly more tempting. L3, this was very important for these two. L3 stayed 5, but gained 12 loadout to 21, so you can actually do stuff with her. Likewise, Lando stayed 5, but got +8, go up to 18 loadout, so you can actually build Falcons with them. Freighter Captain, +1 cost to 6, generic. Yeah, don't do generic spam, but gained 18 loadout to 24 and now has 2 crew. Interesting. Interesting that Lando only has 1. Escape Craft, thank you. This is one of those key things that had to happen is something had to be super cheap. And the escape craft, no one was going to fly it because you automatically give up a point on the thing unless it costs 1. I can feel Marcel Manzano's spirit on this one, just that he got the autopilot drone down to 1. I really appreciate that because if it's actually having an impact in the game, it's going to blow up and you're going to just give a point to the opponent. So everything that it does has the cost of just giving a free point to your opponent. So it really makes sense to have it be that cheap, especially with no LV, no upgrade bar. So that makes sense. Yeah. So Han with that now has extra shields and has a bomb he can spit out the front or the back. Now costs 6 for both. I like that. That's very cool. And yeah, loadout increase in all the others, which also is really good because they're completely worthless right now. So L3 got +9 loadout to 13, Lando got +6 loadout to 10, and then the Outer Rim Pioneer got +7 loadout to 11. You can actually do stuff with them now, which I still don't see them seeing play, but more than they used to. Fang Fighters. Okay, I have beef with Fang Fighters. I think Fang Fighters are bad. I think that Scum has been held back a lot because people want to fly Fang Fighters because they're fun, but they just blow up. And the durability upgrades helped, but they weren't running tables. They're not that good. They just have too many downsides. All of their upsides actively either give you more downsides or don't compensate for your downsides in like effective ways. So all I see here are nerfs. Kind of. Interesting. So everybody stayed the same cost. Tour Fun went up 1 to 5. So now only generics are, well, okay, we do have some 4s. Yeah, there's still quite a few 4-point Fang Fighters with Joy, Cad, and then the generics, but anyway. Fen lost 2 loadout to 10. Joy lost 2 loadout to 5. Yuck. Old Terek lost 1 loadout to 9. Tour Fun gained 5 loadout to 16, which, you know, he's low initiative. The Mandalorian Royal Guard lost 3 loadout to 4 without getting a decrease in cost. The Skull Squadron pilot lost 1 loadout to 5, and the Zealous Recruit, the initiative 1, gained 6 loadout to 11, and it gained the missile slot. I feel like the Zealous Recruit is now going to be a problem, and the other ones are just going to disappear. I don't love that. I really wanted to see some point reductions for Fangs or a loadout increase or something, and this has basically no changes except for nerfs. So I feel like Fangs are already bad. That's not going to help, except maybe the Zealous Recruit running around the Prockets, which is kind of fun, but it doesn't have a talent, so it doesn't have Fearless, but oh well. Fire Spray, Boba Fett down 1 to 8, thank you, but lost the crew slot. Still, 8 cost Boba. I can work with that. You can add the title for the gunner, and that's the bulk of what I used anyway. But I like that crew. But down 5 loadout to 13, so you got to really be efficient with those points. Emmon down 3 loadout to 14. Hondo -8 loadout to 10. Yuck. Kath down 1 point to 6, so there's now at least one 6-point fire spray. Down 12 loadout to 6. Koshka -1 loadout to 15. Crassus +2 loadout to 20. He may be the strongest fire spray all of a sudden. But I'm going to fly an 8-point Boba in a second. Especially running around with aggressors. Yes, thank you. Bounty Hunter -1 cost to 6. So there now is a generic fire spray for 6 and +6 loadout to 16 and gained the gunner slot native because it doesn't have the title. And the assumption, I guess, is that gunner is absolutely critical to make a fire spray work. And he was the only one that didn't have one. Interesting. I'm definitely, that's another case where the Fang and the Fire Spray are the ships that come up so much as like the Boogeymen of first edition. They've had really shining moments where they really dominated the meta, but it's been a really long time and they both don't feel very good right now. And both of them were kind of treated as if they're too good. I'm curious to see where that goes. I wonder what other Scum folks have feedback on that, but I'm surprised by that. G1A, my Mist Hunter, 4 lump stays at 5. Okay. +1 loadout to 15. Zuckus goes down to 4. It's worth taking. -4 loadout to 6. Yeah, I'll still take that. I'm sure there's actually some pretty cool combos you can do with 6 points on one of these things. And then the Gan finds my generic goes down 1 to 4, gains 3 loadout to 6, and gains the mod, sensor, and crew slot. Gauntlets, Maul went down 1 to 7. Thank you. Rook went down 1 to 6. Ooh, ballsy. Maul got -3 loadout to 12, and Rook -6 loadout to 8. Interesting. Then Shadow Collective Operator, the generic, stayed 7, but gained 10 loadout to go up to 20. So you can really build that sucker out, which kind of makes sense. Like the scummiest of the gauntlets would be the Shadow Collective Operator. It's the mercenary that works for Maul. But Pirateist, I guess I should say. I still think there's something there. Maul at 7 is certainly a tempting piece. A gauntlet with 3 force who can take the configuration and the title. It's pretty good. He's still got 12 loadout. There's still stuff you can do with that, especially since some stuff went down in cost. Rook at 6 is awesome. So I've been building lists for a long time with Boba and Rook, and that list just went down by 2 squad points. So that'll be fun. I also want an excuse to run both together, and it just has never worked out. So that 2 points may exactly be exactly what I need, especially since I'm pretty sure Bosk will not be 2 anymore. But I could always bring an escape craft. Hawks. I see nerfs again. Guys, Daze stays at 4, -7 loadout to 5. Gamut Key gains +7 loadout to 15, but +1 cost to 5. Kanan Jarrus goes +1 cost to 5 as well, but they both gained the title. Okay, that's huge. So Kanan and Gamut may both be worth it with the title. Gamut especially is probably a 5-point Hawk with the title and 15 loadout. Like that's very powerful. Okay, I'll give you that. Give me a 3-point Tapusk or a 4-point. Give me something like this. Tapusk needs some love. The I5 Hawk needs some love. He got nerfed, but he gained the title. All right, I'm mixed on this. So they all gain the title except the generic, which makes sense. And Paylob already had it. So sorry. So Paylob loses 1 loadout. Torkel gains 3 loadout to 11. Tapusk loses 4 loadout to 6. So he stays 4. He's a initiative 5 and has the title now. Okay. You know what? I would actually run Tapusk just like that. Interesting. Yeah, that does. Yeah. All right, Tapusk, let's give it another try. Let's see how you do with the multi-crow. I like that. But iffy. I still feel like that's extremely challenging to balance because Hawks are so squishy that even adding an extra attack die, it's still hard. That makes them a tie interceptor, but easier to shoot at. So sure, they've got the extra focus tokens, but yeah, I'll see what I can do with Tepos because I've always really liked him, but that means I can't take Hondo crew, which is one of my favorite things to do with the I5 crew carrier, but whatever. Jumpmaster, Dengar stays 6, but gains 3 loadout to 14, which is nice. Nom gains 10 loadout to 21. Wow. Wow. Okay, that's fun. Tel Chavura, -1 cost of 5. It was weird that he was 6. +1 loadout to 21. That's nice. And then the Contracted Scout, the generic +1 cost to 6, but gains 16 loadout to go up to 20 and gains crew and gunner, which is interesting. Still doesn't have the title though, so I really don't see anyone bringing that without the title, but who knows? Kirax, Captain Justero loses 1 loadout to 11. Graz loses 1 loadout to 7. Talonbane loses 8 loadout to 4, but also goes from 5 points to 4. That's fun. Even with only 4 loadout, a 4-point Talonbane is certainly worth considering. I haven't taken my Kirax out of a box in years, so it'll be pretty cool to bring him out there. Victor Hell, +1 cost of 5, but +12 loadout to 22. What can we do with 22 points of loadout on Victor Hell? And Victor Hell, if I recall correctly, is the one where if he, what is it? If he defends, if he doesn't roll exactly 2 evade dice, something happens. Anyway, that's interesting. That's Victor got a lot of love there. Black Sun Ace stayed at 4, but +6 loadout to 9, gained a listen and mod. Very nice. Cartel Marauder generic went up to 5, but +10 loadout for 15 and has the mod and missile. And that feels like a generic that can be 5. Like it's very thematic to the faction, strangely. It's a really interesting ship to build around, even with limited slots. Like, yeah, that could work. Lancer. Oh. So now wait, 7, 8, and 6. So we got 12. Yeah, so I can now do my dream squad of Ketsu, Boba, and oh crap, what's her name? Rook. Ketsu, Boba, Rook, and it's a clunky, awkward giant list, but it's very killy. Because Asajj went down 1 point to 7, didn't make sense at 8, gained 3 loadout to 23. Ketsu went down 1 point to 6. Super good. But lost 4 loadout to 11. That's an issue, but we can work with that. Sabine it stays at 6, but gained 10 loadout to 19. That makes a lot of sense. The Shadowport 100 generic gained crew and mod, stayed 6, and then got +9 loadout to 15. Okay. Oof. Oof. Man, my extended stuff. It's a little bit shocking thinking about how much my old Scum squads were pretty much all extended, which is a little strange. So I did the Kimagila, I did the quad jumper. We'll get to that. I can't peek. Yeah, Kimagila. Dalen went down 1 cost to 4. Nice, but -5 loadout to 7. Yeah. The real scary one, though, stayed 5, Tirani Kolda, +7 loadout to 17. Tirani's terrifying. Tirani does free damage. If he shoots at a target in his bullseye, he gets dead to rights, so it can't spend tokens to defend itself. And if it doesn't have a token, I believe he just does free damage or something. I forget what it is. There's some penalty where, like, unless the ship does X, it takes the damage after you perform an attack, period. And he's got the missiles, so you do it twice with your cluster missiles. I destroyed an entire formation of vulture droids in a single shot with him between the cluster missiles and his free damage. They'd already taken a fair amount of damage already, but still, it was a significant kill. Yeah, but then the Cartel Executioner goes down to 4, +2 loadout to 5, so it's still not very impressive. Gains Astromech, Illicit, Mod, and Torpedo. Those are interesting. I don't see those changing very much. Dalen Oberos being 4 is nice, but Tirani's the real power piece of the Kimagila, and him getting a big chunk of loadout is very nice. M3As, they still suck. Sorry, guys. And I see a lot of nerfs. Why do I see nerfs to M3As? Gargor, the I Initiative 0, 3 cost, gains 2 loadout to 11, still only has a mod slot. Genesis Red, -1 loadout to 13, lost the illicit slot. Inaldra, -5 loadout to 6. Leighton Ashira, -5 loadout to 4. And as a reminder for folks, these ones have the hardpoint, so they can have a missile, torpedo, or cannon slot in addition to their base slots. They can have one of those 3. So that's why they don't have any weapon slots in there, but they can take weapons. But this, again, have M3As actually been performing in any measurable way aside from just blowing up? Like, why are several M3As getting more expensive? Okay. A bunch of loadout drops with no commensurate change in cost. Now, we could see this, though, if the formula was applying the math to these guys and saying that these ships are too efficient. They're like 1.3 versus 1.5 thing. Did they have too much loadout because they were able to take too many upgrades? So now they're in line with everything else. So there's kind of a general shuffle that nerfed a lot of stuff that would counter these. Maybe they're good now. I don't know. Maybe it's the same for Fangs. But so these guys, Inaldra -5 loadout to 6, Leighton Ashira -5 loadout to 4, so she can't take the ion cannon anymore. Quinjast +4 loadout to 16, that's interesting, but +1 cost to 4. Okay. A little extra loadout love to the bounty hunters. I like to see that because I like that. Like, if ever there's going to be a ship with a lot of customizability, it's going to be a bounty hunter. Dalen sort of throws that out the window, but yeah, anyway, Sunny Bounder +4 loadout to 12. I do appreciate that because Sunny's a pretty cool ship, and being able to do more with her is a lot of fun. Sarasu -6 loadout to 6. Can take an ion cannon, and that's it. I mean, it makes sense because these things are able to run around with a proton torpedo, but their action bar is terrible. Their maneuver bar is terrible. They have really nothing going for them. Like, M3As are not good. And if this is the only change they get, they're never going to see play, just like they don't see play now. Tensari Point Veteran +1 point to 4, +10 loadout to 13, and then gets the talent system and double mod slots in addition to the hard point. Now that is interesting. So the Tensari Point Veteran generic is now a much, much more tempting piece because I just mentioned it can have the hard point. So you can put a cheap cannon on there and then also load those suckers up and make it a very interesting ship. Okay, you can see that. And that's why it went up to 4. And now we've got the Mining Guild tie, a Hav going up +3 loadout to 11. Nice. Captain Seavor going -1 loadout to 6. Foreman Proach going up 4 loadout to 10. Lapid, no change at all. Overseer Yushun going +5 loadout to 12. Wow, gaining an illicit slot. You can do a lot. Lappin being the one with the cannon, though, is the one I always sort of reach for. Seabor has the missile, which is also nice. Mining Guild Sentry Generic +5 loadout to 8. And Mining Guild Surveyor is now our 2-point. Hello, Scum has a 2-pointer. That is really good. I would love to see Mining Guild Ties actually on the table, and this would actually do that. It is a bummer to have a spammable piece, but at the same time, like if you're gonna have a generic ship in Scum, the Mining Guild Tie really does kind of make sense being that one. So I actually like that a lot. It's got a talent, but no loadout. So if you could find a free talent. Space Tug, interesting. So everybody except Zuvio got a points cut, which is great. So they're all 3 points now, except Zuvio's 4. Zuvio got +10 loadout to 23, which I really love that. He's like the name that people recognize aside from Unkar Plut. So it's just funny that you couldn't do anything with him. He can drop bombs out the front though, so he's going to be an absolute menace with that much loadout and a double bomb slot. He could take advanced sensors. Yeah, advanced sensors maneuver, throw a bomb in somebody's face. Yeah, Sarko Plank becomes 3 points, gains 4 loadout to 10. So Sarko's a very interesting piece because his evade is equal to the speed of his maneuver. So if he does a 3-speed maneuver, he's evade 3. So he's a 3 evade space tug, which is kind of fun. You can only do that so long though. Unkar Plut, and this is the ship that can go backwards. I really miss the space tug. It was such a weird little ship. Yeah, let's see it back. Unkar Plut -1 to 3 cost is good. -1 LV to 6. And he's the one where any ship touching him gains a tractor token. I think including him, but Jakku Gunrunner generic went down to 3 and gained +3 loadout to 7. So actually the Jakku Gunrunner generic is another one that could actually be kind of a problem. Rogue, mostly no changes. Dirge was nerfed down to 8 loadout, so -2 loadout to 8. Bummer. Only other change is the Outer Rim Hunter. The generic gained 10 loadout to 15, so you can do a lot with the Outer Rim Hunter now. Skrrg, H6, bummer. Nim, down 1 to 5. Makes sense. Seems sort of a weird choice at 6, considering what else is at 6. +1 loadout to 18. Okay. Sol 6 at +9 loadout to 21. These are ships you do not want to give too many loadout to, but if you don't give them too much loadout, there's not much they can do. So if we're going to see the Skrrg on the table, that'd be a good way to see it. So a lot of bombs. Lock Revenant now is +1, the generic, which, yeah, the Lock Revenant being spammable at 5 was a big problem for the game for a while, so it's good that went away. But it still got 17 additional loadout for a total of 25, and it gained a crew and mod slot. There's a lot you can do with those. Yeah. ST-70 Q9 lost 2 loadout to 14. Oh, this is good. The Mandalorian went from 6 to 7, bummer, but gained 15 loadout to 25. I have mixed feelings about that. I really appreciate the increased loadout, and it makes sense that would come with an increased squad cost, but I don't think I'm paying 7 for that thing. I don't know. We'll see. Especially being able to fly with a generic swarm now of those mining guild ties. Yeah. Guild Bounty Hunter went down 1 to 5, and the Outer Rim Enforcer also went down 1 to 5. Guild Bounty Hunter lost 8 loadout to go to 6, and then the Outer Rim Enforcer kept the 10. Now, that is certainly interesting. A 5-point Guild Bounty Hunter would be a very good piece to fill out a list. That could be a lot of fun. Even the Outer Rim Enforcer, but that 10 loadout is definitely limiting. I wonder. Star Viper, -1 cost to 4. Dalen Oberos and the Star Viper. That was 4. Guri, -2 to 5. Wow. And Guri gained the system slot, so she doesn't even need Virago to get system, which is really good considering we saw Virago's points go up to 8, I think. Yeah, so Guri's loadout is now -12. She only has 8, so she's 5 points, which is super good. And now can do a kind of efficiency build, or she can take Virago and get that system slot. But if you take Virago and get the system slot, you basically only get the shield out of it because that's your entire loadout. So interesting. Prince Caesar still 5, +7 loadout to 14. Black Sun Assassin +6 loadout to 12. Black Sun Enforcer -1 cost to 4. So you can run 2 different, they're generic 4-point Star Vipers. That's worrisome. And then you got the illicit and the tech slot there, 7 loadout. Yeah, Dalen is certainly interesting, but also the 7 loadout generic is interesting. A 4-point Star Viper is a hell of a piece to have in the game. 5-point Fury is a hell of a piece to have in the game. Maybe we're making it, guys. We're almost there. YV666 Bosk, no change. Dr. Afra lost to the title slot. Okay. Fine. It got added points anyway. Nobody's going to do that. Lots. Well, they may have, because I could see Afra and the Z95 being really annoying. Lats Razi, -4 loadout to 18. Moralo Aval, -1 cost to 6. Thank you. It was wild that he was 7. -6 loadout to 14. He had too much loadout anyway. A 6-point Moralo is certainly more tempting than a 7. I think he's a really powerful piece and a really cool piece to play with, but he didn't see any play because he was 7. He was competing with crazy stuff there. So there are quite a few more efficient cheap pieces to throw in here, especially your extended stuff. And a YV that can jump off the board and then back on the board is a really good piece to keep up with something like your Star Vipers. So that's pretty cool. The Trandoshans Labor Generic got +1 cost to 7, but it got +21 loadout to 27, got 2 crew slots and a gunner. So gained the slots you needed to really do anything with that loadout. That's a really interesting customizable ship too. YT2400, no changes. Z95 Headhunter Bosk went up to 3. Sure, saw that coming. Nashta Pup went down 2 to 0, which is why the title now costs something. Okay, interesting. So that balances out. I assume you can't take the Nashta Pup without the title. I don't know that I've seen anything. Yeah, otherwise. Excuse me. Bosk gained 5 loadout up to 8. Okay. Catuleachos, whose name you can never say, +4 loadout to 15. So we've got meaningful loadout here, which is nice. And Drew gained 4 loadout to 11. Binary Pirate gained 9 loadout to 11, but just has the mod and illicit. Black Sun Soldier gained 5 loadout up to 9 and has a talent. Okay, so your 3-point generic Z95s are now heavily spammable. They have 9 loadout each and have a talent. They can't have ordnance, but they could have stuff like a snapshot Black Soldier Swarm with Drea would be really unpleasant to fly against. Yeah, except they're all like initiative 3, so you're gonna shoot at them all first. But enough of them could really flood the boards. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Resistance, I know very little. Ben, the Star Fortress, Ben, -8 loadout to 11. Cat, -3 loadout to 14. Idun, -1 cost to 5. -12 loadout to 10. Yikes. Finch, +1 loadout to 23. Lost the system slot. Page, lost the gunner slot. Venny, +2 loadout to 22. Gained a crew, but lost a system. Cobalt Squad, probably advanced sensors. Can't do that. And that makes more sense. Rather than taking the upgrade away entirely, you make it fairly, they, I guess, made it cheaper, actually. You take it away from the pilots where it would be abusive. As there are definitely some. Cobalt Squadron Bomber, +2 cost to 14, or +2 loadout to 14, excuse me. The Falcon. Chewbacca, -2 loadout to 16. Han, -6 loadout to 9. Poe, -1 loadout to 24. Ray, -4 loadout to 21. Resistance Sympathizer Generic, +8 loadout up to 18. Very nice. Resistance and FO, they've always felt a little bit like they just have a few too many toys going on. So it kind of makes sense to dial back some of their loadout pretty heavily. But RZ2 A-Wing, Greer goes down to 3 and has loadout of 3 as well, -4. Lulo, -3 loadout to 7. Merle, +2 loadout to 6. Ronith, -1 cost to 3, -5 loadout to 5. Sefton, -1 cost to 3, -10 loadout to 2. Suralinda, -6 loadout to 4, -1 cost to 3. So now I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, and a generic. You have 5 different 3-point RZ2 A-Wing options, which keeps them more in line with the RZ1s, but they also have dramatically less loadout, mostly. Talison gained 3 loadout to 15. Zari gained 6 loadout to 17. Wow. And ZZ went from 5 to 4, so -1 squad cost, and then +1 loadout to 11. Blue Squadron Recruit Generic gained a missile slot and gained +8 loadout value up to 12. Still not enough for a 14-point proton torpedo, but and then the Green Squadron Expert got 1 point cheaper to 3, and then gained 3 loadout up to 5. So still has the double talent and 5 points to spend, which I believe is enough for heroic plus something, right? T70s, Psy Threnali, -1 loadout to 6. Elo, +1 cost to 5, and +4 loadout to 12. J-Chris, -1 loadout to 7. Jess Pava, +1 cost to 5, +8 loadout. Joff, -1 squad cost to 4, -7 loadout to 6. Kare Kun, -3 loadout to 5. Lieutenant Bastion, -1 cost to 4, -9 loadout to 5. Okay. 9 Num, -5 loadout to 11, so pretty high. Nimi Shireen, -4 loadout to 4. Ugh. Poe, Flyboy Poe, the 7-point Poe, gained 1 loadout to 26. Talk about a custom pilot, but he's also a 7-point X-Wing. Poe Dameron, the cheaper one, the commander, went down to 5. Wow. But also lost 12 loadout to go down to 7. So if you want a budget I6 resistance T70, you really can take it now. But that's a risk with only 7 loadout. Temmin Wexley, +1 cost to 5, and +1 or +7 loadout to 16. And then the grown-up Temmin, 5 cost, lost 1 loadout. I may have those backwards. I think that's scarier Temmin, the grown-up Temmin. Vanessa Doza, the Resistance show is definitely worth watching. I'm gonna keep saying that until somebody actually watches it. You just gotta get past some hugely annoying characters, but it's a really, really short show. And every time I see a character from it, I'm always like, warm and fuzzy. And I'm one of the very small handful of people who actually has like a visual and a voice to go with Vanessa Doza. And she's a cool character. Yeah, but she got +1 cost to 5, bummer. +6 loadout to 13, that's nice. Zay Versio, -1 loadout to 6. Black Squadron Ace, -1 cost to 4, -8 loadout to 2. Blue Squadron Rookie stays at 5 squad cost, gains 9 loadout up to 13. Red Squadron Expert now costs 4, -1 squad point, and +3 loadout. Resistance Transport Kova, -1 loadout to 19. Noden, -1 cost to 4, but also -5 loadout to 15. Sorry, getting paranoid. Hamich costs 4, +5 loadout to 17. Jamarisa just stays. Logistics Division Pilot generic in theme here, +12 loadout to be 18. Wow. The pod, the cursed pod. BB-8 +1 to 3, thank you. Finn -1 to 3, ooh, ballsy, but -8 loadout to 7, and some key characters that could have gone with him got more expensive. So, yeah, but oof, man, 3-point Finn. BB-8 +10 loadout to 14, so now that sort of compensates for that giant increase in cost. 2 to 3 is probably the most significant bump you can go in squad cost. Excuse me. Rose Tico +2 loadout to 11. Vi Marati +6 loadout to 12. Fireball, Jarek Yeager +1 cost to 4, but +11 loadout to 20. Boy, you can load that guy out. Look at those slots. Again, Yeager from the Resistance show. Very cool character. So is everybody else in this ship. Kaz stays 4, but loses 1 loadout to 13. R1J5, Bucket, gains 4 loadout to 12. Here, the generic doesn't get much better. The 3-point Colossus Station Mechanic gained 1 loadout to 7. The BT Resistance Y-Wing, and remember for the Y-Wing, the title is now free. The wartime loadout configuration, if I recall correctly. Baby Akbar is fine. Chorus, -1 loadout to 7. Psy Threnali, +2 loadout to 12. Lega, -1 loadout to 6. Shaza, -3 loadout to 6. Whoa, got a lot lower. And a lot of them lost access to the config. So wartime loadout is now much more affordable, but a lot of ships can't take it. Yeah, interesting. Let's see. Teza gained 1 loadout to 13. Wilsa lost 7 loadout to 5 and became 3 points, so a nice drop in cost. Zori +3 loadout to 12, very nice. Kajimi Spice Runner -1 cost to 3, +4 loadout to 8. New Republic Patrol 4, +5 loadout to 12. So let's look at this. The ones that can take the config are Akbar, Psy Threnali, Tessa Naz, Zori, and the New Republic Patrol. The ones that can't, Jimmy Spice Runner, Wilsa Teshlo, Shaza, Lega, Chorus. So some of the scarier pilot abilities now can't take wartime loadout, which kind of makes sense. So you you are paying for the ability at the penalty of not getting the wartime loadout that you could with someone else. So I don't know. I don't know enough about it to say. I know resistance Y-wings have been a big thing, but yeah. Major Von Reg, -3 loadout to 11. First Order Provocateur, the generic TIE Baron. Please do not let generic TIE Barons become a thing. +8 loadout to 11. It's a TIE Interceptor with shields. Why, it's 4 points, but TIE Foes, Commander Malorus, +1 to 4. Thank you. +15 loadout to 19. Oh, that is, oh boy. You can do a lot with that. DT798. Lost 2 loadout to 4, also from the Resistance show, just saying. Lieutenant Gaelic, +8 loadout to 15, but +1 cost to 4. Lieutenant Revis, +7 loadout to 11. That's a lot of loadout on these FOs. TN3465, +6 loadout to 11. Longshot, +1 loadout to 9. Midnight, +1 cost to 4. +10 loadout to 17 and gained a missile slot. Anytime a TIE gets extra loadout and a secondary weapon slot, that is definitely something to look at. Yeah. Null, +2 loadout to 7. Scorch, +1 cost to 4, but +8 loadout to 14. Generic Epsilon Squadron got +11 loadout to 13 and a mod. Omega got +6 loadout to 10. Zeta got +9 loadout to 12. TIE SF. Captain Phasma. I think after this, the only thing left is Separatist, and that's going to be a really good one, so I'm glad we saved that for last. Phasma, +3 loadout to 9. Lieutenant LeHughes, -1 loadout to 6. Backdraft, +2 loadout to 7. Nice. God, he's only had 5. Wow. Omega Squadron Expert, +1 cost to 5, but +10 loadout to 13 and gained a talent. Now there's a lot you can do with that too. Zeta Squadron Survivor, 4, but gained 7 loadout to 11. TIE Silencer, Kylo Ren down to 6. Really? Okay. Especially with the change to, well, okay, there it is. But he lost 14 loadout down to 8. Yeah, that makes sense. Because he can't take extreme maneuver still. Or if he does, he can't take anything else. Avenger, -1 loadout to 9. Blackout, or +1 cost to 6. Whoa. +5 loadout to 17. I could see that being such a line here where if you nerf Kylo, everyone just takes Mitt and a Blackout and calls it a day. So you make Blackout a little bit better on loadout, but you make him the same cost as Kylo. So the two kind of meet in the middle. And so there's actual decision making about which one you take. Recoil, lost 1 loadout to 9. Rush, lost 3 loadout to 8. First Order Test Pilot gained 4 for 9. And Sanar Jamis Engineer had +10 loadout for a total of 15. Wow. Upsilon, oh God, okay. Most of them went down a point. So Captain Cardinal is now 6 points. Dormance is 7. Tavson is 7. Stridon is 6. Thanison is 6. It's a -1 across the board. Starkiller Base Pilot is still 7. Captain Cardinal gained 4 loadout for 16. Dormance lost 2 for 18. Tavson gained 8 for 25. God. Stridon gained 4 for 17. And Thanison gained 5 for 19. And then finally, the Starkiller Base Pilot gained 14 for 22. You can run around with your Snokes and your generic pilots. She-class shuttle, Terex, -1 cost for 3. A 3-point she shuttle. Ooh, interesting. -7 loadout to 6, sure. Agent Tyranny, +5 cost or +5 loadout to 20. Wow. Wow. And she's got an interesting ability. Malorus, -7 loadout to 8, Chris. Hask, -3 loadout to 12. I do think that Hask is really, really good. Hask, she, plus all those FOs is underrated. First Order Courier is +4 loadout to 14. TIE SE Bomber. Jewel, -1 cost to 3. Oof. -6 loadout to 7. Breach, -1 cost to 4. -2 loadout to 16. Dread, +1 cost to 4. +12 loadout to 20. Whew. Grudge, +1 loadout to 16. Scorch, -1 loadout to 6. Forced Order, oh God. So we've got generic bombers. -1 cost in both generics. We'll deal with that later. Fine. I knew that was going to happen. I could feel it the whole time. Yeah, we're almost done. We'll make it through. Yeah, so the First Order Cadet, -1 cost to 3, -3 loadout to 4. Senar Jamis Test Pilot, -1 cost to 3, -2 loadout to 6. Now the loadout on those is so low, it doesn't seem too bad, but still, there's stuff you can do with those. Tie Whispers. Kylo Whisper went up to 6, so he now is tied with Silencer Kylo. That, it feels extreme. But look at that loadout. 17 loadout plus 3 for 17. So it is extreme. Extreme maneuvers. Extreme maneuvers on Whisper Kylo is probably a lot of fun. We haven't done it because no. Nightfall down 7 loadout to 3. Ouch. Whirlwind +1 cost to 5, but +6 loadout to 18. Those are quite scary now. Wrath -3 loadout to 12. 709th Legion Ace -5 loadout to 5. Red Fury Zealot +5 loadout to 8. No slot changes there. Okay. Galactic Republic. Okay, so we do have 2 more, and we are very close to done. Jag Custom no. Yeah, Custom Jag went up to 5, gained 9 loadout. Siege of Coruscant is still the same. Custom Oddball went up to 6. Okay. And then Siege of Coruscant Oddball also went up to no, excuse me, up to 5. Pardon. Yeah. So those 3 are yeah. So Oddball is now 5 in both cases, and Custom gained 10 loadout to 17. Sinker -3 loadout to 12. Wolf -5 loadout to 4, and then Siege of Coruscant Wolf went up 1 to 5. And Custom Wolf lost Gunner but gained Crew. Okay. Interesting. Oh, because all the other ones had 2 gunners. Yeah, so now that means he can actually take Wolfpack, which is very silly that he couldn't. Except I guess he's in it, so it kind of makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, so the really terrifying ARC 170 list that have just been like slow rolling, walking across game tables from several tournaments for a while here. There was long time pretty much understood that one of those arcs had to go up by a point at least. Probably 2 of them. And so we see 2 of the Siege of Coruscant ones go up by 1. It is interesting to see 2 of the custom ones go up by 1 too. So even the alternative 4-point spam you can't do anymore either, because every case has a 5-point version. And Oddball, you could do Siege of Coruscant Jag, Custom Wolf, and then Siege of Coruscant Oddball, and only get the penalty of 1 point, but you lose a lot of utility doing both of those, doing that Custom Wolf. So there are ways around that where it's not such a massive nerf, but the nerf had to be broad enough that you couldn't just get around it. So that makes sense. The 104th Battalion Pilot Generic got +5 loadout to 13, and the Squad 7 Veteran went down 1 to 4 points, but lost 5 loadout to 5. That's a case where I bet the generic spam became a real problem. 4-point arcs, you can have 5 of them on the table, and if they had 10 loadout each, yuck. Yeah, Delta 7 Aether Sprite, Adigalia, the Shooting Star, -6 loadout to 6. Ahsoka, no change. Anakin, +2 loadout to 12. Nice. Mace Windu, -4 loadout to 3. Gained the config slot, which you should have had all along. Obi-Wan, custom, -1 loadout to 9. Plo Koon, I guess these are all custom, excuse me. -1 squad point to 4. So Master Plo's 4, that's nice. -11 loadout to 3, that's less nice. Sacy 10, -1 loadout to 7. 7 loadout. Jedi Knight generic +6 loadout to 9. That's cool. Yeah, and that's the cheaper, doesn't roll as many attack dice one. Yeah. And the more expensive one, this one actually got buffed across the board. Adi, -1 cost to 6. She was 7. Yuck. -8 loadout to 10. She had 18. Wow. Ahsoka, -1 cost to 5. So Delta 7B Ahsoka is now a 5-point ship. That's really good. Barris, +2 loadout to 12. Luminara, +1 loadout to 8. And -1 cost down to 5. So there are a lot of 5-point Delta 7Bs. Mace Windu down to 5 as well, or is 5 already. Lost 3 loadout to 4. Obi-Wan, -1 loadout to 6, but lost 6 loadout, down to 9. Plo Koon is down to 6, but then also lost 4 loadout, down to 15. But still, Master Plo seems very appealing there. I believe he's another Initiative 5. Terrible time to run out of water. Yeah, Plo Koon, another Initiative 5, and 15 loadout is still very significant, plus a good upgrade bar. So the beloved Talent Force slot, plus the Astromech for good measure. Yeah, that's a very tempting ship. Stacy Tin lost 3 loadout down to 6. Jedi Knight -1 cost to 5. So the generic is 5 plus 6 loadout to 9. Okay, so generic Delta 7B Jedi are not totally out of the question. 5 is still a lot, but yeah. Let's see. Axe Custom +3 loadout to 11. Kickback +2 loadout to 12. Kickback Siege of Coruscant +1 cost to 4. So it's a 4 squad point ship. Oddball Custom Oddball Torrent has +7 for 23 loadout. Wow. Slammer -1 loadout to 6. Swoop -6 loadout to 7, but goes down to 3 squad points. Tucker -1 cost to 3 squad points. Blue Squadron Protector and Gold Squadron Trooper, the 2 generics, both went down from 4 to 3. Blue Squadron Protector gained 4 loadout to 8, and Gold Squadron Trooper gained 2 loadout to 8, so they both have 8. Yeah, torrents are not good enough to be expensive. So it definitely made sense to cut the cost on some of those down a bit. Kickback, yeah. Siege of Coruscant Kickback was doing just fine. Naboo Royal N1s. Anakin N1, -1 cost to 4, but -11 loadout down to 9. So he's not a proton torpedo carrier anymore. There's still stuff you could do with that, but that may be an over nerf. And isn't he supposed to have, he doesn't have a force upgrade, he has a force point. Yeah. Danae, no change. Gavin, no change. Padme +1 to 6. That might have been overkill too, but +6 loadout to 22. So she got her loadout back, but her squad cost went back up. Yeah, makes sense. Bravo Flight Officer generic was -1 cost to 3. So there are 3-point Naboos, but -2 loadout to 6. Naboo Handmaiden went up to 11 loadout with a +3. There's some customization there. Republic Y-Wing. Yeah, we're fine. Republic Y-Wing. Anakin went down 1 to 5. Whoa, and +5 loadout to 25. So he's a very strong proton torpedo carrier. He still has 11 points to play with after slapping the 14-point torpedo on there. R2-D2 down 1 loadout to 8. I still love that he's still got the crew slot on a Y-Wing. Cracks me up every time. Broadside -4 loadout to 6. Matchstick +2 loadout, but +1 squad cost to go up to 4. Oddball -5 loadout. They just don't want you running Y-Wing Oddball. And then Red Squadron Bomber, generic down 1 to 3. Shadow Squadron Veteran down 1 to 3. Red Squadron Bomber got +3 for 9 total loadout, and the Shadow Squadron Veteran got +4 for 8 total loadout. Running out of steam, folks. We're almost there. Ayla Secura and the Eta-2 Actis, -11 loadout down to 4, but -1 cost down to 4 as well. Anakin Eta down 1 squad cost to 4, down 12 loadout to 3. That is really tough. I appreciate them being cheaper. I don't know that their upside is that good, and they're so squishy. They're so squishy. But I guess with that much force, like it's hard to put them lower than 4. But Anakin Skywalker Siege of Coruscant went up to 5. That's probably too much for an Eta, but sure. I feel like everything else around that was nerfed enough. That's not a problem, but yeah. Kit Fisto -6 loadout to 5. Obi-Wan Custom +2 loadout to 17. Now that is, I like that. You can really build out that Obi-Wan pretty thoroughly. And he's still another I5 Eta too. Shock T -4 loadout to 6. And then the Siege of Coruscant got +1 cost up to 5. Okay. Encourages people to take the custom, I suppose. Yoda got -5 loadout to 7. And the Jedi General got -1 cost to 4. Tied for cheapest in the chassis and got +5 squad points to 9. Okay. Gauntlets, Bo-Katan stayed the same, but the Night Owl Liberator went down to 6 squad points and gained 4 LV for a total of 16. So we got a very customizable gauntlet there. That's fun. For the Lats, Hawk went down 1, Hound went down 1, 212th Battalion Pilot went down 1. Hawk lost 15 loadout for 10. Hound lost 6 loadout for 14. Yikes. Warthog gained 8 loadout for 26, as now by a mile the most expensive of the Lat pilots, but able to do anything with his upgrades. Then 212th lost 2 loadout to go to 5. But is a 4-point Lat. Okay. Nimbus class V-Wing. Yeah, the V-Wing. Contrail lost 8 loadout to go down to 3. Custom 1. Click -3 loadout to go down to 5. Oddball lost 1 loadout to go down to 8. Poor Oddball. Loyalist Volunteer got +1 loadout to 5, and Shadow Squadron Escort +1 loadout to 4. Mostly 3, except Click, Siege of Coruscant Click, and Siege of Coruscant Contrail are both 4. Everyone else is 3. Yeah, okay. Cyril class hyperspace ring, nobody cares. Nobody knows what that is. Or what it's supposed to do. We know what it is, just doesn't do anything in the game. Clone Z95s. Boost went up from 2 to 3. Drift went up from 3 to 4. Hawk went up from 3 to 4. Slider went up from 2 to 3, which makes sense. Knack gained 2 loadout for 9. Killer lost 5 loadout for 6. Hawk. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Remember, there's a tablet there where the water spilled, but it's fine. Just rolled right off it. Excuse me, yeah, okay. So Hawk gained 6 loadout to 14. Drift gained 11 loadout up to 16. And Boost gained 9 loadout up to 12. So if you really want to run the Z95s, you can, but now you're going to have to pay 3 to 4 points for them. We're going to see fewer of them, but when we see them, they're going to be very personalized, very interesting ships, and they'll be there for a reason. Yeah, so watch out for those. Warthog and the Headhunter went up to 4, but gained 9 loadout for 19. Seventh Sky Core Pilot went up to 5 or up to 8 loadout +5. Reaper Squadron Scout went up to 6 for a +4. Separatist, our final faction. We're almost there. Who's still with me? Still with me? We'll see. Oh, and this one's going to be hard because they don't have names. Okay, DFS 081 went up to 3. So not a 2-point anymore, but gained 9 loadout. And these are the vultures. A vulture with 16 loadout is interesting. DFS 311 went down to 2. That's really good because that is a really critical piece of Separatist squads, and having him be 3 really hurt. So both versions of DFS 311 are now 2 points. The custom one only has 2 loadout. Iron Assembler went up from 2 to 3. Interesting call, but +7 loadout for 12. Yeah, all right. Horchal Prototype went up. Excuse me, Horchal Prototype. They are both 2 points, but the custom one went down to 2 loadout. All right. Kelroto AI Holdout went up to 3. Bummer. But +7 loadout for 14. That's a lot of loadout on vultures. Interesting. I wonder how this is all going to work out. Precise Hunter down to 4, or excuse me, down to 2 squad points. Okay, I really like that. But loadout down to 4 as well, so it can't take the ion cannon. I'm not sure what cannons it can take, but there's stuff there, and the Precise Hunter is such a fun piece. I would love to see them on the board. And at 2 points, like they were meant to be in squads, but they've never been because it was hard to make them 2 points, but they would never be run at higher. So we'll see if that actually makes the difference. Separatist Drone is now 3 points. Whew, the I3 is 3 points, but has 14 loadouts. So you can really do some interesting stuff with your Separatist drones. And then the trade, well, they only have mod and missile to play with, but you can do stuff. Yeah, so that would just be, instead of 14 loadout, you would have your energy gel charges. Trade Federation Drone is still 2 points, but gained 5 loadout. So it has 5 total and has a missile slot now. Okay, so that those really make sense. The base Trade Federation drones can be running around with energy shell charges, which is something they couldn't do up until recently. Captain Seer and General Grievous both went down to 4, so all 5 Beldelab Belly Rub pilots are 4 points. Captain Seer's loadout went down by 10, down to 7. I really like Captain Seer. He's the one that allows your entire squad, or your entire squad to have crack shot conditionally. But yeah, that's enough for Kraken. You just play safe with him and see how it goes. I doubt it's good, but okay. The General Grievous, 4 points, it still has 11 loadout. Wat Tempor gained 6 loadout for a total of 15, and as one everybody skips over, he also gained the title slot. Feathan Outlaw Autopilot, Feathan Outra Autopilot gained 12 loadout for 17, and then the Skakoan Ace gained 10 loadout for 14. So they have a ton of points to play with on these. Sith Infiltrators 066 traded a crew slot for a title slot, otherwise the same. Count Dooku -1 for 6. Oh, so now the custom Count Dooku is 6 points, but only has 13 loadout. Interesting. I still don't know if that's going to be enough to compete with the Siege of Coruscant one, but we'll see. Darth Maul stayed 7, but gained 1 loadout for 20. Dark Courier gained 6 loadout for 15. Hyenas, DBS 32C, the coordinate one that has the relay slot went down to 3. So there's a maneuverable 3-point relay carrier, but it's only got 3 squad points, minus 13, or loadout. It only has 3 loadout after losing 13 here. Gross. 32C, the Siege of Coruscant is now 4 points. DBS 404. Oh, custom DBS 404 went down to 3 points. That's fun. But has only 9 loadout after losing 1. 404 Siege of Coruscant went up to 4 points. That just kind of makes sense. Factoid Prototype gained 1 loadout for 10. Factoid Prototype Siege of Coruscant went down 1, so it's now 2 points. There's now a 2-point Hyena, which, if I'm not mistaken, there never was before. So you can take the 2 Factoid Prototype Hyenas for 4 points total, for 2 for each. It's interesting. Then Berwer, oh, that's the Nantex. Yeah, that's all the Hyenas. Okay, Nantex, Berwer Kret, and the Nantex is down to 3, but minus 5 loadout to 2. So you just take him and nothing else. Shertek, plus 6 loadout to 16. Very nice. Gorgol, minus 2 loadout to 7, but minus 1 cost to 3. So that's 2 3-point Nantexes. Sunfac gained 6 loadout to 21. Oh, there we go. Petronaki Arena Ace gained 3 loadout to 9, but went up to 5. 5 squad points. And then Stelgas and the Hive Guard got 3 loadout to 7 and stayed 4 points. So interesting. I got to see what you can do with that 21 points on Sunfac. That's impressive. Tri-Fighter. We've got TIS 387 minus 1 loadout to 3. Excuse me, 347. And then the 347 Siege of Coruscant gained 1 and is now 4 points. Interesting. DIS T81 custom is now 4 points as well, but gained 12 loadout for a total of 15. A Tri-Fighter with loadout is also very worth looking at. Next change is Bolin Das lost 2 loadout for 10. I wonder what we can do with 12. Holocoid Interceptor gained 1 loadout for 5. Our Flak prototype, now both of them are 4. The custom one was brought up to 4 points, but it's got the custom one gained 8 loadout for a total of 14. And then the Separatist Interceptor, the generic, gained 1 loadout for 4. The HMPs, DGS 047 and DGS 286 both went up 1 to 4. 047 gained 4 loadout, 286 gained 3 loadout. Geonosian Prototype, the double cannon HMP went down to 3. That is very spicy. Lost 4 loadout for 8, but still, you just take 8 points of cannon, call it a day, and that's a very, very powerful piece. I think either synced cannons or proton cannons will fit on that. Yeah. Onderon Oppressor, the missile one, lost 1 loadout for 14. So now it can take a proton torpedo, but then that's it. Can't take anything else. But still, that's a proton torpedo. That's no, only has missile slots. Never mind. I don't know what you can do with that. Anyway. Fire Spray, Aura Singh, plus 5 loadout for 15. I don't know that we'll ever see her still because no one really gets her and she's so situational, but whatever. Separatist Baby Boba Fett, minus 1 cost for 6. 6 squad cost on that. Okay. Excuse me. But lost 11 loadout for a total of 5. Django Fett lost 1 loadout for a total of 21. Zam lost 5 loadout for a total of 17. Separatist Racketeer went down to 6 as well. So Separatists also have 2 6-point fire sprays, and one of them is generic. But the Separatist Racketeer lost 1 loadout for a total of 9. In the Rogue, Dirge lost the title and lost 4 loadout value for a total of 6. Oh, I like that. IG 101 gained 5 loadout for 16. IG 102 gained 2 loadout for 13. IG 111, the one that does free damage, lost 4 loadout for 8. The Magna Guard Executioner gained 10 loadout for 16. That's a really fun ship to build. And the Magna Guard Protector, also a fun one to build. Lost 4 loadout for 6. That's a bummer. They all have dead to rights. Got to remember that. Even the one that has like minimal points or is just sort of in a spot. I really don't know what I was saying there. Anyway, Gauntlet, Bo-Katan stays at 6, lost 4 loadout to 8. That's not good, Bo-Katan. That's rough. Deathwatch Warrior, 1 less squad point, so it now costs 6. And then gained 5 loadout, so it has 15. Pre-Vizsla gained 1, so now he costs 7, but he gained 6 loadout, so now he has a total of 20, so that's pretty good. So that's it. You made it. You made if you're watching this part of the video, you made it. I made it. We're good. Let's see what else we got. What's next? And so I did want to touch on this. YASB does have a drop down to where you can actually use the XWA beta points. So you can actually build and save squad points with this. And I did also see confirmation earlier today that the squad printer tool in Infinite Arenas lets you print out cards, also does recognize those points as well. So if you link from a YASB or Launchbay Next build into the card builder there, it should correctly recognize what they are with XWA points. So that's pretty cool. One note though is if you do choose that and then switch factions, you have to choose it again. So don't get too confused there. Because the XW beta includes both extended and standard, which is something that had to be coded in there, and they have different points values. So it couldn't be just like another duplicate of the same thing. I believe that was the last thing that I had to show. No, there's a media section on the X-Wing Alliance website. So if you want to catch up with some of the background, see a bunch of the other stuff there, direct link to the Discord, a bunch of YouTube and podcast links, so you can really kind of catch up with all the groups. I didn't make the cut this time, but we'll see. Who knows? But yeah, there we have it. Cool new website, new points, new beta points. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. Hopefully this is gonna release in a couple days, and yeah, hopefully all of you had time to pore over this. So hopefully I did not repeat too much. Anyway, cheers. Till next time.